The AAA All-Star Game has showcased baseball's future since 1988. You only have to go back a few years to find out. In 2012, Matt Harvey toed the mound, and a year later was starting the All-Star Game in his home ballpark. Last year, Michael Wacha shined as one of the game's top stars, carrying that momentum all the way to the World Series. 2013 Rookie of the Year, Will Myers, the 2012 AAA All-Star. And where would the Reds have been last year without Billy Hamilton in September? Well, he spent his July showcasing his skills in Reno. Now this year's crop of talent hope to use that same opportunity to open some eyes and propel themselves into a big league pennant race. Who will stand out in 2014? It's one of minor league baseball's biggest events. Live from Durham, North Carolina, next on MLB Network. Welcome to this MLB Network special presentation of the 2014 AAA All-Star Game. Tonight we're in North Carolina at the home of the Durham Bulls, where the best players from the Pacific Coast League will take on the top stars from the International League right here on MLB Network. So the big leaguers had the stage last night, and some of the guys who played in the game in Minneapolis have passed through this game in years past, all the way from Devin Mesoraco to Derek Jeter, who played in his last Major League All-Star game last night for the American League. And with that, we welcome you inside the broadcast booth here at Durham Bulls Athletic Park. Paul Severino, Darrell Hamilton, and the editor-in-chief of Baseball America, John Manuel, as well. So it's not the same ballpark that they showcased in Bull Durham, but they did bring over some of the key pieces, like the Bull. We'll discuss that as the night goes on, of course. There's also a lot of talent in this ball game. Top prospect with the Dodgers, Josh Peterson, is here.
Yeah, laying his claim as the top prospect in this year's AAA All-Star Game is Josh Peterson. The 22-year-old from Palo Alto, California, is Baseball America's #1 prospect for the Dodgers and number 34 altogether. His numbers in the PCL are pretty impressive, with a .324 average, 17 home runs, 43 RBIs, and a league-leading .445 on-base percentage. Hey, this kid can play. He's trying to get his first opportunity to go to the Dodgers in the big leagues. But let's be honest, the Dodgers have some pretty good outfielders right now. It's going to be a little tough at this point.
If he keeps doing what he's doing, he'll find his way to the big leagues somehow, some way. Another guy to keep an eye on tonight is someone who's going to get a pretty good hand, we can only assume, Mikey Matuk, who plays for, of course, these hometown Durham Bulls.
Yeah, the Tampa Bay Rays organization, they produce a lot of athletic outfielders over the years, and Matuk wants to be the next one. He's a 2011 first-round pick, and Mikey Matuk has been one of those guys that they drafted in the first round. They haven't had a lot of success with first-round picks of late. He has the athleticism, he has the power to hit that ball in left field, and he has the defensive versatility to play any of those three outfield spots. Good arm strength, so there's a lot to like with Mikey Matuk. He needs his chance at Tampa to be the next in line from B.J. Upton to Desmond Jennings to Kevin Kiermaier.
No doubt. Before he tips his cap during introductions, of course, he's downstairs with our Sam Ryan. Sam?
Thanks, Paul. Mikey, your first AAA All-Star game. And hey, by the way, it happens to be in your home park. How neat is this for you?
It's a great experience. Like you said, it is my first one. It's something that, any guy that plays, professional sports wants to be and honored for, their abilities and the seasons they've had. So to be chosen to play here in my own town, my hometown, or not my hometown team, it's a great honor. I'm excited. It's been fun, the last 3 days to play with these guys, and you beat up each other all year, and you finally get to play with each other for one game. So it's a pretty cool experience, and I'm looking forward to the game.
So you have 8 home runs coming in. I know you participated in the home run derby, and you're smiling because I know you didn't hit any home runs in the home run derby. But what was that like, just to try to hit home runs?
It was a different experience. I'm not, I guess, the biggest home run guy. I was a late addition. I got the call at midnight the night before, and asked if I wanted to be in it, so I said yeah. I had a great ovation. It was a sold-out crowd, but unfortunately I did not hit one. I don't know. I guess it's went against my approach of trying to hit a home run, and I got maybe a little nervous, and I tried too hard. But it was fun. It was something that I definitely enjoyed doing again. And hopefully the next time I'm in one, I hit maybe 2 out, 1 out, whatever. At least get one.
And maybe hit the bull.
Yeah, maybe hit the bull. Maybe hit the bull.
Well, good luck tonight, Mikey. Thank you for your time.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Paul, back to you.
Sam, thanks a lot. If he doesn't hit the bull, I hope that somebody else does. Got to take a quick break. When we come back, lineups and first pitch from Durham next. Welcome back to Durham. Let's take a look at the Pacific Coast League starting lineup. Leading things off in center field is Paulo Orlando. Jock Peterson, who we talked about a moment ago, is in right field. Chris Taylor bats third, playing short. Mike Jacobs is at first base, cleaning up. Francisco Pena is the catcher. Alan Dykstra, who won the AAA Home Run Derby a couple of nights ago, will hit sixth. The DH, Nick Franklin's at second base. Shane Peterson is in left, and Gabriel Noriega rounds out the lineup and plays third base. And the guy that they will face tonight is Liam Hendricks, who is just stepping to the mound to begin his warm-up tosses for the night. As you can see, rocking a Bison's uniform, 16 games and 14 starts. And look at the record for Buffalo, 7-1 with a 2.19 ERA.
Hey, Paul, he's pitched at upstate New York for several years. Before that, it was with Rochester in the Twins organization. That's his original signing organization. Signed out of Australia. His family played some Australian rules football in his background. So the Twins really like this toughness, and he's had some tough times when he's been to the big leagues. But in AAA, his command, his plus changeup really have helped him dominate AAA lineups for several years.
And one of a handful of players who we will see tonight that have also gone through the World Baseball Classic, which is another great, obviously, event that Major League Baseball has showcased in recent years. And Hendricks was the youngest player on the 09 Australian WBC team. A good look here at Durham Bulls Athletic Park, and as we mentioned before, not the same park that was showcased in Bull Durham, but they have taken a couple of the pieces from that movie and brought it here. But BAP, right?
Yeah, DBAP. This is
This is DBAP, but
that
BAP,
was DAP, yeah.
That was DAP, right. So that one's still open. They still play a game or two every year there. The Bulls do, at least. So that's still open and operational. But this is the new ballpark, and this is a really nice ballpark. They did a great job with this.
Yeah, it was built for a high Class A team, and then they expanded it for AAA in 1998 when they became a Rays affiliate. And then this offseason, a multi-million-dollar renovation, as you can see there. And it's really shown. Just coming here as a fan, coming here, being here in Durham, it really shows the amount of work they put into it. And I'm impressed, Daryl. I don't know, we see a lot of great ballparks around the big leagues, obviously, and we saw one this weekend in Target Field. But for the AAA level, this is one of the showplace ballparks and a showplace franchise.
Oh, it's gorgeous, and the area around it was all built after the stadium was put together, so it has revitalized the downtown area here.
And of course, the Bull has made its way, and as has Paulo Orlando to home plate, so he will lead things off for the PCL. We'll talk more about the ballpark, the history of it, and the Bull itself. As this night progresses. Sam Ryan is downstairs. She'll have plenty more on that. First pitch of the night is in there for a called strike, 91 miles an hour to Orlando, and we are underway here in Durham. So as we said before, the big leaguers had the stage last night, but this is the only game in town tonight. So buckle up. This is going to be an awful lot of fun, and Orlando fouls that one off, and it's 0-2 quickly to the leadoff batter and center fielder.
Talking to a lot of the players down in the dugout, both teams understand that they're the only game in town. So this is a big deal. I mean, no other game, no other sporting event that's going on. This is the only one. So they get an opportunity to play on a big-time stage.
0-2 pitch is skied to right center field. That's the Sun field, as you can see. And Sousa puts it away for out number one here in the top of the first inning. So 3 pitches to Orlando and a flyout, and that brings up Jock Peterson, as we mentioned before, a member of the Dodgers organization, the top prospect in that organization, and for good reason, especially with the numbers that he's put up this season, hitting .324 with 17 homers and 43 RBIs. So this will be one of those guys that we key in this evening and really get a good look at. One of the young ball players in this ball game, but there's also a lot of seasoned vets in this game as well. That one is upstairs to Peterson, and it's 1-0. So let's take a look at the Best Western Farm Report, John.
Well, Paul, Jock Peterson has a lot of tools, but the one that really stands out the most is just the plus raw power. This guy can put a ball out of any ballpark, and he can put it out to any part of the ballpark. He's also got above average arm strength. One of the things that I think makes him a future for the Dodgers is that he's defensively versatile enough to play left, center, or right field wherever they need him. So they have a crowded outfield, as Daryl said, in the open. He can play any spot, and that's why we compare him to Curtis Granderson, a guy who's left-handed power, defensive versatility, could play center, but probably be a better defender on a corner.
And I think the advantage for him right now, he's 22 years old. So he's got a little time to get to the big league.
Yeah, this is still finishing school for him, Darryl. And the strikeouts are a little high, kind of like Curtis Granderson. So that's another part of the comparison we kind of like. When he gets mature and he's 27, 28 years old, you put him in a short porch like Yankee Stadium, he might hit 40 home runs.
So he has worked the count full as it really is a beautiful night. The sun is out. This is a far stretch from what we saw yesterday. They had to cancel the workout yesterday. That one right down the middle, and Peterson strikes out looking, and there's 2 away here in the first inning. Yesterday, the weather here was really, truly horrific. That pitch, however, was beautiful right down the middle, and that's the first strikeout of the night for Liam Hendricks.
I thought Russell Crowe was going to show up yesterday in the middle,
middle
of the rain.
The animals were doubling up. They were ready to get out of here.
What time they start BP yesterday in the workouts? 3-ish or whatever it was, and they shut things down real quick. And the rain came for really the rest of the night as Chris Taylor skies one to left field. Giving this one a ride is Matuk, and he will play it off the wall with the bare hand. And into second base with a 2-out double is Chris Taylor.
That's that left field wall, Paul, that's kind of like a blue monster, they call it here in Durham. And Chris Taylor got a fastball that missed its spot by quite a ways, Darryl, and he pounded it.
Yeah, stayed inside on that ball pretty good. A lot of guys try to pull it and hook it. Probably won't keep it fair, but he keeps it fair, keeps it in the gap, shows his raw power.
Taylor 31 extra base hits in the first half of the season with the Tacoma Rainiers, and he is on second base now with a 2-out double, and that'll bring up Mike Jacobs, one of the guys that we were kind of alluding to before. You see he's with the Diamondbacks system now, playing in Reno, hitting just under 300 with 12 home runs and 65 RBIs, but an even 100 home runs in the big leagues. And one of those guys who, you know, obviously he's not one of the top prospects in the game, but he still may have some kind of value at the big league level. Not necessarily Mike Jacobs specifically, but that type of player that we'll see tonight who, as the season rolls along, teams may lean on their minor league system for depth, and especially in a case like Jacobs and others, experience as well.
Yeah, he's there to help the younger players on that AAA team get pitches to hit, among other things. Obviously, in the Diamondbacks organization, Paul Goldschmidt ain't going anywhere, Darryl. So
right.
Mike Jacobs is kind of insurance in case something does happen, but he's really there to fortify that AAA lineup.
But he could be one of those guys that a late season acquisition by a team that's making a run. You know, he hit 1 or 2 home runs to help the team get to the next level. I see him possibly getting an opportunity to go back to the big league soon.
0-2 pitch from Hendricks, a swing and a miss. Second strikeout of the inning. Hendricks works around that 2-out double, and we will see the International League hit in the bottom of the first after the break. Welcome back to Durham. Let's take a look at the International League starting lineup. Leading things off is Ezekiel Carrera in left, playing center field rather. Jose Perella is at second base. Steven Souza leads the league in average on base and slugging, the old slash line triple crown. Jesus Aguilar is at first base. Wilson Benavides the DH. Mikey Matuk of these Durham Bulls is in left field. Phil Goslin, who was up over the weekend with the Braves for a day, plays third base and bats seventh. Jonathan Solano is catching, and Ivan De Jesus is the shortstop. And the pitcher that they will face is Eli Villanueva, who's on the mound tonight for the PCL. 19 starts, an 8-6 record with a sub-4 ERA for the New Orleans Zephyrs.
Paul, you got to put that sub-4 ERA in some PCL context. It's a very offensive league, and so a sub-4 ERA is pretty good in that league. And Villanueva's been a veteran of that league. He doesn't really have a separating pitch, like a plus pitch, but he pounds the strike zone with 4 pitches. We'll see the fastball up to 92 tonight.
I hope he throw. Oh, it was only 89. I was hoping he'd throw 92 for you on the first pitch and make a genius out of you.
I dared myself to throw it out there, and I thought Eli would get my back.
Ezekiel Carrera takes for a called strike, and here is the 0-1 pitch, lined to center field, left center field, in fact, and Orlando puts it away for out number 1. Let's take a look at the rest of the PCL defense, and we start in the outfield. We've already seen Orlando, part of the law firm of Peterson and Orlando, from left to right in the outfield. Noriega, Taylor, Franklin, and Jacobs third to first, with Pena behind the plate catching Villanueva.
A little Tacoma flavor there with 3 Mariners starting in the infield, 3 Mariners farmhands for the PCL.
Jose Perella takes outside for a ball, and it is 1-0. With the Yankees AAA affiliate, Scranton Wilkes-Barre, a .321 hitter with 8 home runs. Fouls this one out of play, and the count even up 1 ball and 1 strike.
And Perella's a guy who's lost some weight over the last year or two, Paul. Got himself into better shape. He's a little bit quicker, a little bit more versatile, a little more. The athleticism is playing a little bit more, Darryl. See if we see that on the field tonight.
24 years of age, out of Venezuela, signed by the Yankees in '06, as we take a look at his scouting report.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the thing that to be a utility player, you have to have some defensive versatility. So is the arm strength going to be enough to allow him to play on the left side of the infield? That's the real question. But the bats come along this year, Darryl, and we're seeing that contact ability that was in the scouting report here in this at bat, just spoiling some decent pitches.
And you got to be able to play multiple positions in a situation like this. You look at some of the guys in the All-Star team, and I take Josh Harrison as one.
Great example.
To where you can play infield, outfield, and get an opportunity to play every day in the big leagues.
Ball in the dirt, and the count runs full. 3 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out here in the bottom of the first inning. And just the Yankees themselves, obviously as a Yankee farmhand, and that's why I bring that up, is Yannervis Solarte, a guy who was kind of, I don't want to say in the middle of nowhere, but he was bouncing around a bit. Now this year, he's had his ups and he's had his downs, but given all the injuries to the Yankees and everything else that's been going on, Solarte's seen plenty of playing time as Perella draws the 1-out walk.
I think if you're a Solarte, you're thinking it's all ups because you're not in AAA.
Yeah,
and that's what all these guys
yes.
want, is that career. That's really Perella's competition in a way, is Solarte. Can he beat him out for some of those utility at-bats?
So he's on first after the 1-out walk, and that'll bring up Steven Souza.
You know, when was the last time you talked about the Yankees and having utility players come up and get an opportunity to play a lot? I mean, it's kind of the way the team is
like
going
in
at this point.
1959 or
Yeah,
something,
exactly.
maybe? I don't know.
Exactly. This is so weird.
Souza takes one for a called strike, and it is 0-1.
Well, you mentioned, Paul, that Souza's having a dominant offensive season. Darryl, he was the guy that the managers and the players on this IL team were very excited about and impressed by.
You're leading in the Triple Crown race, and you're 6'4", 225. I guess it would be something to be positive thinking that he was going to do well in this game.
Yeah, 14 home runs, 37 extra base hits, 62 RBIs, and oh, by the way, a little bit of speed too with 21 stolen bases. We talked about Jock Peterson in the Dodgers outfield. I think, Darryl, you and I on MLB Tonight, we've talked about the Nationals and their lineup construction just a little bit in recent weeks too. So
yeah,
that's another interesting component to all of these situations here with these guys and why they may or may not be in the big leagues and what could be coming next. So that's a foul ball, and the count now 0-2. John Byrne is the home plate umpire and the crew chief. In fact, the first umpire from Australia to work a minor league game. Scott Mahoney's at first, Jeff Gosney at second, and Stu Surewater is at third. Those are your umpires for tonight's AAA All-Star game here in Durham. Villanueva and Pena trying to get on the same page with no balls and 2 strikes on Souza, and Perella off of first here in the first. Swing and a miss for his first strikeout of the night.
Like a sinking changeup, Darryl. That's kind of one of the strikeout pitches for Villanueva. Little he got Souza to chase.
that's one of the things that you have to calm yourself down as a hitter in a All-Star game. You would think that that pitcher on the mound is going to be rushing fastballs to get the radar gun up and pretty high, but these guys have to pitch up there, and that was a pretty nice changeup to get the strikeout.
Had just 71 strikeouts in 98 2/3 innings in the first half, but he gets one for out number 2 here in the first. Jesus Aguilar takes outside, 1-0. So Villanueva has seen a little bit of the big leagues, very little bit, but here is his scouting report.
And he has a little wrist hook in the delivery. You'll see when he plunges the arm down. That gives him a little bit of deception. Also, kind of, he knows his timing. It's hard to iron that out, Darryl, but at the same time, it's hard to repeat a breaking ball when you have that little wrist wrap that you see in the back, and we'll see it again here. And when he plunges down like that, just hard to get to that same release point for that breaking ball.
I'm trying to think who had that wrist cup, and I want to go
Tanaka.
Sutcliffe.
Oh, okay.
Rick Sutcliffe. Remember back in the day? Well,
Aaron
I'm a little
Crow's
older, so I'm going to the old guys.
Fair
okay.
Rick Sutcliffe is like the ultimate, like arm twisting down, plunging down there.
But Paulie's looking at me like, who? I don't remember that guy. I'm a young guy. I don't know these guys.
No, I remember him more as a broadcaster. I'll put it that way.
That's nice.
How's that?
That's nice. John, we're doing well up here now.
Does that showcase our age difference well enough for you in the first inning?
Okay. I heard you the first time. Okay, let's just go to Plan B right here. Okay.
It'll be a 2-1 pitch here to Aguilar. Hot shot toward third, past Noriega, and it rolls toward the bullpen into left field. That should be extra bases. They will hold Perella at third, as the ball may have gotten caught up there in the little well down there. I'm not sure if that's exactly what the case was, but it looked as though they kind of called it a dead ball.
And that's a little bullpen area where the relief pitchers go down there and sit during games. And I didn't see the ball get stuck, but it just got under Noriega here. And Darryl, when you're an outfielder, how do you play those balls in the corner that might or might not be ground rule doubles?
Well, hopefully he came out early to take some balls out down the line during BP to get a feel of what's going to happen down there. But the one thing I've always been taught as an outfielder and playing in a different stadium is let the ball react before you react. And what I mean by that is don't get sucked into that side and go in looking for the ball. Next you know it's on the other side of the outfield. Let it bounce, let it do its thing, and then make your approach.
So runners on second and third with 2 outs here in the bottom of the first inning, and Wilson Betemit steps in. Also one of the hometown Durham Bulls, and he takes a called strike. Betemit signed as an amateur in July of '96 with the Braves when he was 15 years old. This year with AAA Durham, 14 home runs and 40 RBIs. But between '96 and tonight, he's played for a lot of ball clubs.
He has played for a lot of ball clubs. The interesting thing about it is that
just off the glove of Jacobs, that's going to be at least one. Here comes Aguilar, throw off the mark, and he's in there safely. So what could have been a line out, in and out of the glove of Jacobs, not an easy play, mind you, but in and out of the glove of Jacobs results in 2 runs.
Well, this is always that awkward time of the day where it's kind of twilight. You still see the sun out, shaded on the infield, so you're not sure if Jacobs had a little trouble picking the ball up when he came off the bat. Nice line drive. It looked like just may have missed it just by a little bit by not seeing it coming off the bat. That's always a tough play for an infielder. You would hope third, fourth inning, it gets a little darker, where it's easier to see. Plus, remember the backdrop here. It seems like every fan comes to a ballpark with a white shirt on. You know, can you just change that up one time, please?
That'll bring up Mikey Matuk, who takes inside for a ball 1-0.
The other part of that is that ball was scalded. That ball was hit hard, had some topspin on it. And the last 2 balls have both been hit fairly hard by the International League, and now you have Matuk with some power at the plate.
So we'll give him a 2 RBI single on that one and an early 2-0 lead here for the International League. As Matuk now ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. We heard Matuk talk with Sam Ryan before the game, said that he was a late add to the home run derby, found out, what did he say, midnight before the ball game. And I've heard players that have taken part in home run derby before say, it's just tough to do it regardless.
It's very tough.
And I'm sure on less than 24 hours notice it's tougher.
Well, in some cases, that might be a good thing because you're not thinking about it as much. But, yeah, hitting in a home run hitting contest is always difficult because it's so easy when you're not trying. When you're actually trying, it's always difficult.
On the ground and sharply hit to second base, but Franklin makes the play to Jacobs, and the inning is over. But not before the International League scores a couple to take a 2-0 lead after 1. MLB Network is your home for more than 150 games this season with 5 live telecasts each week. You won't miss a moment of the action. Don't miss interleague action when the Reds face the Yankees in the Bronx on MLB Network Saturday afternoon baseball live at 1 Eastern time. Back here in Durham, Paul Severino, Darryl Hamilton, and John Manuel, the editor-in-chief of Baseball America, back with you as the AAA All-Star Game moves to the top of the 2nd inning. And it's Francisco Pena, Alan Dykstra, and Nick Franklin for the PCL against Liam Hendricks, who works into his 2nd inning tonight. This one is hit in the air and fouled off down the line, 1-1. So Pena, 18 home runs, 40 RBIs, playing for the Kansas City Royals AAA affiliate, the Omaha Storm Chasers, and his dad has some Royals ties too, doesn't he?
Yeah, Tony Pena managed over there for a couple of years, and Francisco Pena was a big deal when he signed as an amateur with the Mets. $750,000 signing bonus. He was a highly regarded player, and Tony Pena was one of the reasons why, because he had those bloodlines. You see Tony Pena with a bat flip before bat flips were cool, and a long and storied career. His son has a little bit different body type.
Didn't get a chance to flip the bat there before that hot shot found the glove of Phil Goslin and one out here in the second inning.
Well, he's had a big year, Francisco Pena has. The power has shown up, and it showed some power here. The line drive right to Goslin. Saw some of the hard hit balls like that in his big league day, Darryl.
And his dad was one of the worst guys to get in home plate when he's catching. He talked the whole time.
Really?
Yeah, he held a conversation with you as a hitter. You're saying, Tony, can I hit, please? Can I hit? He just kept talking and talking.
Well, Alan Dykstra did a great job hitting the other night at the Home Run Derby. Won the darn thing, and from what we understand, put on quite a show. Playing for the Las Vegas 51s. Look at ball 2 that just misses low from Liam Hendricks. And speaking of bloodlines, no relation with Lenny Dykstra and Alan Dykstra, as we just, of course, talked about Tony Pena and Francisco Pena.
I was able to watch him in BP today, and boy, you talk about putting on a show. This guy can hit it anywhere out of the ballpark.
He's one of those guys where he hits it and it stays hit. You know, he has power, especially the pull side. Darryl, he has big pull side power. Showed it back in college at Wake Forest.
This was Monday night, right here at Durham Bulls Athletic Park. Won the home run derby. 3 homers in the first round, 4 in the second, and 1 in the final. But he comes up empty there against Hendricks, and there are 2 away. So let's take a look at the International League defense behind Liam Hendricks. Of course, this will change, being an all-star game, but at least for now, Matuk, Carrera, and Souza left to right in the outfield. Goslin, who we saw make the nice play on the line drive to Jesus, Perella, Aguilar's at first with Solano behind the plate. So Nick Franklin steps up, switch hitter and second baseman, hitting 7th tonight for the PCL. Swings through it 0-1. Now Franklin, one of those guys, and this is seems as though it's a topic of conversation a lot with us on MLB Tonight, with the Seattle Mariners. A thick crop for sure of prospects. It's just a matter of them kind of panning out and living up to their potential. He's obviously near the top of that list.
Yeah, he's came through kind of in that same group as Dustin Ackley, Justin Smoke. He was one of the next guys in that group, and the Mike Zaninos of the world who have panned out have become everyday regulars there. And Franklin had some struggles, and then he kind of got blocked by this Cano guy who came along.
Who? Oh, Robinson Cano. I see. Franklin swings and misses against Hendricks, and we are through an inning and a half. 2-0 International League. The AAA All-Star Game is brought to you by the Cree LED bulb, the biggest thing since the light bulb. Back here in Durham, North Carolina, Paul Severino, Darrell Hamilton, and John Manuel from Baseball America. Eli Villanueva deals to Phil Goslin, who swings through it in the count 0-1. It'll be 7, 8, and 9 for the International League here in the second inning. Goslin, Jonathan Solano, and Ivan De Jesus. Hit on the ground, high chop, and it will get into left field over the head of Noriega. And it is a leadoff single for Goslin. So Noriega has been tested a couple of times already. Really not much he could have done on that one, but was charged with an error in the bottom of the first inning that led to the 2 runs.
We've seen Villanueva miss up and in with that fastball a couple times, Darryl, where he's tried to locate down and away, and the fastball's risen up and in, and he was punished by Taylor with the double earlier. We see this now where he misses here to Goslin.
Well, it would have been a good job by the grounds crew if they would have watered it a little bit more. I thought the rain would have caused a little bit of problem in front of home plate. Usually you get a sinker ball on the mound, that certainly helps him out.
Jonathan Solano steps in with a runner on first here in the second inning and takes a called strike. Well, you mentioned the rain yesterday, and we talked about it before, but there were some big raindrops. You know it's going to be a bad storm. You see those big raindrops. And the grounds crew, give them a lot of credit, out quick. They were out quick. They got to home plate. They got to the mound. They covered it up, and then it rained for the next 24 hours, it seemed. So they were quick. That's a quick bat, too. In the air, left field gives it a ride. Peterson back, and it's gone. A home run for Solano, and it's a 4-0 lead.
That's too bad. Too bad we don't have Bill Raftery here to call this one. Onions. That's a nickname for Jonathan Solano. And he showed some there with that long home run.
They tried to rush the fastball, basically left it right over the plate. All you had to do was watch the flip of the bat, and you knew it was gone.
He got it on the rebound, so that was good.
That counts.
That'll be nice.
It's a basketball town, Duke
Well,
University.
yeah.
Rebounding is good.
There's no doubt about it. De Jesus takes a breaking ball upstairs for a ball. And we talked about it before. That bull, it's the third version of the bull. but snorting with the red eyes nonetheless.
The wagging tail is part of the accoutrement of the bull.
This one is skied to center field as well. It will stay in the ballpark, and Orlando puts it away for out number 1.
When the bull gets going late in the game, a walk-off homer, that kind of thing, when it's dark at night, the red eyes are flaring up.
Really?
It's a scene, man. It's a scene.
So the lineup turns over for Ezekiel Carrera, who flew out to center field. And they actually do hand out steaks, too. This isn't just some empty gimmick. They give out steaks.
It's a locally famous Angus barn, too, so it's quality. I don't know about the salad. The Hit Bull win steak, that was made up. That was Ron Shelton's touch with the Bull Durham movie. The salad part, I think that's a little bit more of a modern 21st century invention.
Much more with Sam Ryan later, as Carrera now 1 for 2 with a base hit up the middle.
A lot of hard contact here, Paul.
Yeah, I was just going to say they've gotten to Villanueva for a couple of hot shots in these first couple of innings. And Perella will step in, who walked in his first plate appearance.
It's got to be difficult for a starting pitcher to come out here and settle himself down, knowing that it's an all-star game. A lot of these guys he's faced but hadn't probably faced in a while, and you're trying to get your 2 or 3 innings out of the way so you get back in the clubhouse. And he's leaving a lot of pitches straight over the plate, up in the zone. These guys in the International League are not missing it.
And you talked about that 3.92 ERA being really respectable in a hitter's league like the PCL, but if you runner on the move, throw down to second base, not nearly in time, and Carrera stays on the bag and gets the stolen base.
That's a little bit of what you're talking about too, Daryl. He's so locked in right now to try to get himself back on track. He lost a little track of Carrera, and Carrera's thrown a lot of bags in his professional career and almost lit past the bag here.
It's a different mindset when you're talking about a AAA All-Star game, because unlike the big league game, this doesn't count. It's an exhibition. And I get that part, but it's the only game in town. So a lot of these guys, when they get on base, they're not thinking playing station to station. They're going to steal bases. They're going to do whatever they take the extra base, and basically show the 29 other teams other than the team they play on that, hey, I got a possibility of getting the big leagues.
And as you saw, he's got a sizable lead when it comes to stolen bases in the International League with 37 in the first half.
And to me, Ezekiel Carrera is one of those guys who could see impact the pennant race down the stretch. He's with Toledo, the Detroit Tigers AAA farm team. We saw Quentin Berry a few years ago impact their roster as a pinch runner, a defensive replacement in the outfield. Carrera's a similar kind of player.
And obviously we talked about it a little bit earlier as well, as Billy Hamilton played in this game last year, and we have not seen that type of speed in many years. He's obviously battling with D. Gordon right about now for the top spot in stolen bases in baseball, but again, you mentioned it, he was able to impact the pennant race late last year, Billy Hamilton.
Well, it's a plus tool now, because if you can get a guy to come off the bench, not necessarily have a pinch hit, but as a pinch runner and steal a couple bases, that changed the whole outlook of a ball game.
In the air, left center field, giving this one a chase, and making the catch is Orlando, leaping at the track to make the grab. Very nice play in center field by Orlando.
Well, that's an amazing play because you're not knowing your left fielder. You hadn't played with him, so you're not sure if he's going to take an attempt to try to make that play. And Orlando comes up with a very nice play out in left center field.
And Shane Peterson made an attempt on that play. He's right there running under Orlando, basically, Darryl. That was nearly a collision, and nice body control by Orlando to keep his eye on the ball, make the catch, come off the wall, and throw the ball back in to keep Carrera at second base. That's a tough play.
Well, hitting is never the issue in these games. It's always playing defense, especially for outfielders, because you hadn't played in the outfield with these guys, and you're not sure what they can or can't get to.
Now, Susan, we mentioned it before, obviously, with the way that the Nationals roster is constructed. But if you were able to take that aspect out of it, where is Souza in his development? How far from the big leagues?
He's not. He doesn't need much more in AAA. I mean, he's dominating this level, Paul. I mean, he's triple slash categories. That tells you, and you can look at him physically. He's a man. He's not a young man. He's a man. He's ready for the big leagues, and it really just a matter of what happens in Washington, and maybe he's a trade chip if Washington needs it. But obviously Harper, Span, Worth, Zimmerman, if he has to go to the outfield. As you guys have discussed, they're loaded in the outfield almost as bad as the Dodgers, if not worse.
Yeah, and trying to find a spot for Zimmerman. That is the big question,
right?
Because he should be in the outfield, in my opinion.
Takes low for ball 4, and there are 2 runners on with 2 outs here in the bottom of the second inning. Now, Souza did play a little bit in the big leagues this season. He made his major league debut August 13th. 1 for 8 with 3 strikeouts and a walk. So he has tasted the big leagues. But obviously having to come back down to AAA, and in his first half has done a terrific job. As you get a good look there at Bob Mariano for just a split second, wondering how much longer he will stay with Eli Villanueva, and the answer is perhaps not much longer.
Well, he wanted to try to get him through these 2 innings, Paul, but he talked about using a relief pitcher in the middle of an inning if he got into trouble, and Villanueva's got into some trouble.
And you look at the numbers for a lot of these guys who got, as they call, a cup of coffee in the big leagues. It's always difficult when you get up there. They throw you in the lineup once every 4 or 5 days and expect you to get hit. So don't get frustrated with the numbers being so low for a lot of these guys. They can play in the big leagues.
Pitching change for the PCL. We're back after this. Welcome back to Durham. The International League has an early 4-0 lead. Spencer Patton comes in wearing an Omaha Storm Chasers uniform, which at the moment is factually incorrect because he was traded today, mere hours ago, from the Kansas City Royals to the Texas Rangers in exchange for Jason Frazier. So obviously was able to, unlike Jeff Samardzija, able to still partake in the All-Star game and pitch for his league. And he will try to pitch out of a jam here in the second inning with 2 runs already home, facing Jesus Aguilar, who takes outside, and it is 1-0. Aguilar reached on an error, scored a run back in the first inning. And 2 runs have come across so far in this inning off the bat of a Jonathan Solano home run, as Aguilar fouls that one off. So that's got to be interesting for Mr. Patton. Traded today, which is always, I'm sure, a fun experience, and I say that tongue-in-cheek, but right before you're about to showcase your skills.
Yeah, I mean, mentally, it's got to be a little strange because you find out you're traded right before the game starts, and then, oh, by the way, go out there and pitch. I mean, your mind's got to be all over the place at this point.
So this, as we look at his scouting report, is what the Rangers are getting.
Yeah, he's listed 6'1", 185, but you can see he's just not a big physical guy, but he does attack with the fastball. He pitches a lot more aggressively with it since he's gotten into a relief role, came out of college as a starter, and the strikeout rate's a lot higher this year than it has been for him in the past, and I think there's a little deception that works to his advantage as well.
Yeah, 60 strikeouts and 46 in the 3rd innings pitched. Last year played at a couple of different levels of the minor leagues, advanced A and AA, had 76 strikeouts in high A and 27 strikeouts in 18 innings at AA. So with the Kansas City Royals trying to make a little noise both in the Central and perhaps the wild card race as well in the American League, maybe adding a veteran, as Patton, the newest member of the Rangers organization, gets a strikeout for out number 3. But 2 runs come across on the Jonathan Solano home run. The International League has doubled their advantage. It's 4-0 after 2 here in Durham. Welcome back to Durham. Paul Severino, Darrell Hamilton, John Manuel in the booth. Sam Ryan is here as well. Mike Montgomery takes over, a member of the homestanding Durham Bulls. 17 starts, a 9-1 record, and a 3.21 ERA. Of course, a member of the Rays organization now, but originally with the Kansas City Royals, part of that James Shields, Wade Davis, Will Myers deal a year and a half ago or so. He will deliver his first pitch of the night, and then a chopper to first for out number 1. Again, Sam Ryan is down on the field, and she's with us as well. She spoke to Mikey Matuk before. She is with Pat O'Connor right now. Sam, hello.
Hello, Paul. Yes, the president and CEO of Minor League Baseball. Now, Pat, last year we saw Billy Hamilton in this game. We also saw Michael Wacha, Tony Sanchez. The year prior to that, we saw Matt Harvey with the Mets in that game, as well as Will Myers. When you see these young stars and they transition to the majors, how proud are you?
Well, it just validates what we're here to do, and that's to get these young men out of the minor leagues and into the major leagues and on their way to a great career. And, you know, there are players out here now who before the year's out will be in the big leagues that we're not even thinking of today. So it really is, it just validates what we're doing, and it lets us know we're doing our job.
One player, Phil Gosselin, was called up by the Braves just over the weekend. On Saturday, he's in this game. What does it say to you when these players are here and they want to be here playing this game?
Well, I think it speaks volumes of the player to know that he competed with these young men, these other young men all first half, and he wants to be here. You know, Jack McKeon told him today at lunch that it's critically important that they, cherish these moments, because you never know when, never take it for granted it's going to happen. So I think it speaks volumes to the organization to let him play and for the young man to come here and play.
We've seen the attendance on the rise for the last few years, a sellout here in Durham. This evening, obviously the home of the Durham Bulls, and there's history there. But what does that mean to minor league baseball as a whole? Well,
I think it speaks to the entire state of the game. The commissioner talked about the health of the game in Minneapolis last night. We're experiencing the same exact type of things. Attendance is up again this year, despite a horrible April weather-wise. So I think it speaks to the health of the game and certainly the health of minor league baseball.
How much fun are you having with your job?
It's a job some days, but it sure beats working for a living.
Pat, thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Paul, back to you.
All right, Pat and Sam, thank you so much. 2 quick outs here from Mike Montgomery as the lineup turns over. Paulo Orlando will step in and takes a called strike. It's 0-1. And, John, I know you get a chance to see a lot of minor league baseball. You cover it extremely well for Baseball America. And I'm sure, or at least I would assume, the beautiful ballparks can't hurt attendance either.
No, they just keep getting better. That's really been the change in minor league baseball since Bull Durham. Since the movie kind of kick-started this minor league renaissance, and then this PBA, this agreement between the majors and minors in 1990. There's just been a boom of minor league ballpark construction, and this ballpark was part of it. And both AAA leagues have just seen an explosion of it. The latest one really is in El Paso, Texas. New AAA affiliate of the San Diego Padres. That was a long-time AA franchise. Now it's a AAA. And Darrell, everything I hear about that ballpark is just fantastic. And Lehigh Valley in the IL, just so many new ballparks, and then a lot of traditional franchises like Durham and Toledo that have had new construction to keep up.
It's a big deal now, and when you see these new ballparks, you understand that baseball has made a comeback in the minor league.
Montgomery works a clean 1-2-3 inning. We'll go to the bottom of the third from Durham next. Welcome back to the 2014 AAA All-Star Game with Darrell Hamilton, John Manuel, and Sam Ryan. Paul Severino here in Durham, North Carolina, home of the AAA affiliate of the Tampa Bay Rays, the Durham Bulls. And the Bulls and the rest of the International League have a nice 4-0 cushion as we move to the home half of the third inning. And one of the members of the homestanding Bulls, Wilson Betemit, steps in, who singled and drove in a couple in his first at-bat. And he will face a new pitcher here in the bottom of the third as Kyle Hendricks takes over for Spencer Patton, who cleaned up a little bit after Eli Villanueva back in the second. 1-0 pitch is fouled off to even things up. 1 ball and 1 strike to Bedamit.
And we talked about earlier the number of teams that Mr. Bedamit played for. It's pretty incredible. You said early he started his career at age 15.
That was an illegal signing, as a matter of fact.
Well, I wasn't going to go there, but yeah, I'm sure it was illegal.
And Bedamit skies this one center field, gives it a ride toward the track and toward the wall, and another leaping grab by Paulo Orlando. That was about the same spot that he made a play last half inning.
Almost the exact same play, and this time Shane Peterson stayed away. Smart move by Shane Peterson. He learned his lesson. Let Paulo Orlando, and he's screaming, I got it, and makes the leaping catch. And Peterson comes in later this time, Darryl. He learned his lesson.
He's done it twice. I think we can call it the Orlando now. Now he's kind of...
It's a move.
Yeah.
Well, he's from Brazil. We'll just let him go by one name like the soccer players. He's just Orlando now.
Right. A fantastic catch for out number 1. And Mikey Matuk will step in 0 for 1 tonight. So as Kyle Hendricks takes over, this will be his, obviously, first inning of work. According to MLB.com, the number 16 prospect in the Cubs organization. About a 3.5 ERA for him this season. And as we'll look at a few guys throughout the night, we take a look at the scouting grades. This is just the overview of the grades, John.
It is a 2080 scouting scale. We didn't make it up, but we use it a lot. We grade barbecue with it. We grade ballparks with it.
Love it.
Nice.
2080 scale can apply to anything in life. And 20 is just bottom of the scale. Think of Benji Molina running or Johnny Damon's throwing arm. Top of the scale, 80. Just think of Mike Trout, pretty much anything he does, but especially speed, 3.9 seconds to first base from the right side, for example.
Matuk is retired on the fly ball to Jock Peterson in right field for out number 2.
He used a 2080 scale for pitches as well, and for Hendricks, it's not necessarily a pitch that stands out, it's the control bolded there. Control is throwing strikes, command is putting it in a teacup, putting it exactly where you want to. So for him to be an impact pitcher for the Cubs, you'd want to see one of those pitches maybe be a 6 or a 7, a 60 or 70 pitch. For him, he's more of a back of the rotation profile where the pitches are all right around average, but his control is above average, fills up the strike zone, fits that 4th or 5th starter profile. Also a smart guy, went to Dartmouth, so smart guy never hurts. Maximize your, he's cerebral, I think is the way I like to say that these days.
So let me ask you this, John. So far, and we are in the top half of the 3rd inning, Paul Severino, what would you give him on the scale?
20.
Well, I've worked with Paul in the fall league, and having seen him deal with Joe McGray, I'm going to give him at least a 65.
Wow.
I mean,
I am waiting for my phone
Yeah,
to blow up
actually,
in a second.
my phone's ringing right now. I've got to take this.
Hi, Joe.
that was a lot of fun. That was a fun week.
It was. It certainly was.
We saw some of these players. We saw Steven Souza out there.
And that's the beauty of both the Fall League and AAA All-Star Game. MLB Network as a whole got a chance to do the Futures Game this weekend, first time that we were able to showcase it as well. And it really is, it's an awful lot of fun to watch and really get to match the names to the pictures as Orlando makes a much more conventional play for out number 3, but some nice defense for Orlando behind Hendricks, 4-0 after 3. We mentioned it already, but the Arizona Fall League is back in November. MLB Network takes you live to the Arizona Fall League. It's your chance to see more up-and-coming minor league phenoms. It's the annual Fall Stars game. Don't miss any of the action. Watch live coverage Saturday, November 1st at 8 Eastern right here on MLB Network. They're excited. They love the Arizona Fall League. They love the AAA All-Star Game as well back here in Durham. Paul Severino, Darryl Hamilton, John Manuel of Baseball America, and Sam Ryan is here as well as we head to the top half of the 4th inning here at Durham Bulls Athletic Park in Durham, North Carolina. A pretty close, if not capacity crowd here on hand to see what has been, so far at least, through the first 3 innings, all International League. 4-0, 2 runs in the first, 2 runs in the 2nd inning. It'll be Jock Peterson, Chris Taylor, and Mike Jacobs, 2, 3, and 4 for the Pacific Coast League. In this top of the 4th inning, they'll face a new pitcher, Aaron Laffey, 17 games and 14 starts, 11-3 with a 3.15 ERA for the Nationals AAA affiliate.
And he's been well traveled through his career, and has been a starter, he's been a reliever, he was a lefty reliever for the Yankees a couple of years ago in the big leagues in 2011. Having some success as a AAA starter this year. He's always been a sinker slider left-hander. Gets a lot of ground balls when he's going right.
And this is kind of a matchup that meets the cross-section of talent that we see here in the AAA All-Star game. You've got the major league veteran who's bounced around and played different roles. As you see, the long list of teams that Laffey has played for up against Jock Peterson, who's yet to really take off and meet his high expectations at the big league level. But that's a lot of teams, Darryl.
It's a lot of teams, but it shows the passion that he still wants to play. I mean, it's very difficult for a baseball player to come across and say, you know, it's time to hang it up, especially if you're given an opportunity to pitch again or play again in the minor leagues. And you're just waiting for that one phone call again. And who knows, you get to the big leagues, anything can happen.
It doesn't hurt to be left-handed and to spin a breaking ball, and that's what he just did.
Gets the strikeout of Jock Peterson. Let's send things down to Sam Ryan, who's with songwriter Susan Werner, who wrote the score for Bull Durham, the musical. Sam.
Yeah, Paul, we're going to bring in Susan in just a moment. I want to tell you first a little bit about the bull. We've been talking about the snorting bull. That's his name. He doesn't have a formal name. And if the players hit the sign, they win a steak, actually a gift certificate to a steak. Now, the way this originated was back in the movie Bull Durham. You saw it, it was a prop. It really wasn't at the stadium. So they liked it so much, they brought it to the old ballpark. It was struck by lightning. It's a new sign. Then they moved it over here. And now, Susan, come on in, because Susan has ties to Bull Durham, not the movie, but there's a musical you're working on. You're writing the score for the musical Bull Durham. Tell us about this and what's in the works for this.
Bull Durham, the musical, will run in Atlanta this fall from September 3rd to October 5th at the Alliance Theater. And it's a great cast, and it's a big, fun, sexy show. And I just spoke with the director a few minutes ago. I can confirm we will have a bull.
There will be, okay, there will be a bull. Will they hit the bull?
The bulls are going to get hit. Oh, yeah, along with mascots and other human beings. And, oh, yeah, all of it. Wild pitches, foul balls, mistakes.
So this will open in Atlanta. Are there hopes to bring this eventually to Broadway?
There are. And it's exciting to be part of it. It's an exciting story. And it's fun to be here tonight to see these guys, AAA players, who are right on the cusp, this energy that they have. This is the energy of Crash Davis. This is the energy of Nuke Lelouch. These guys that they're hoping something very, very good is going to happen to them. And it's a fun place to find guys. It's a fun place for characters to be. And these are characters who actually, believe it or not, want to dance. And our choreographer, Josh Bergass, who works on Smash, which is a show that people have seen on television, he's created some great choreography that's very athletic and believable and super fun to watch.
So minor league baseball and dancing.
But the best kind, and the singing, and the songs are fun and gritty, and I keep trying to work Albuquerque Isotopes into the show. I keep trying, but we got what? We got Rochester, we got Tulsa, Toledo, Pawtucket, we got Bakersfield, Buffalo, Saltillo, Sarasota. And hopefully that your viewers will find themselves represented in these songs and in the stories of these ball players and of the legendary Annie Savoy, the woman that they all want to be with.
1988, the movie opened. 2014, the musical will open. Congratulations, good luck.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Paul, back to you guys.
Sounds great, Sam. Susan, thank you very much. Mike Jacobs ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes with 1 out here in the 4th. You saw Chris Taylor reach on what was an interesting play. It looked to me like that took a hop over the bag, hit the back corner. Phil Goslin able to keep it from going down the line.
Amazing play by Goslin to stay with that ball and come up with a throw. We don't have instant replay in AAA. Let's work instant replay in this thing, because that was a really, really close play.
And because Chris Taylor really got down the line really, really well.
Sniffing that knock.
He was sniffing that hit, and he's intriguing because he kind of fits the big league puzzle. We'll take a look again.
Okay, he's safe.
I thought he beat it. I wouldn't have
right,
challenged.
all right.
If I'm in the clubhouse, I'm saying no. Don't waste your challenge on that.
New York's got the night off, I think, anyway, so that's good. Jacobs takes a big swing. This will stay in the yard as Souza gives way to Carrera in right center field for out number 2 in the 4th. Talked about the bull a bit. There was Sam Ryan with Susan Werner, and the bull obviously playing such a it didn't star in the movie. I guess that was, you know, the character of Nuke Lelouch and Crash Davis, but the bull, that was That was really the big thing. I mean, the bull didn't really exist until the movie, as you mentioned before, and earlier tonight we saw it go off when Jonathan Solano hit the home run. So that was the first time I got to see it in person. It goes off on both sides. I didn't even realize that.
Only for home games, it only goes off for the Bulls, but tonight both teams are being treated as bull-worthy. Snorting bull-worthy, I should say.
I would like to be bull-worthy. That's interesting.
I think that this is a special occasion. You know, they've stated their case, and they've been pronounced bull-worthy tonight. They're going to do something about the hair.
That's right. Solano will swing and line the 0-1 pitch to left field, and Matuk puts it away for out number 3, just below the bull that we saw go off before, and the bull that will be showcased in Susan Werner's Bull Durham, the musical, as we are listening to a sample from the play that'll be at the Alliance Theater in Atlanta in September. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the International League of Professional Baseball Clubs Incorporated and the Pacific Coast League of Professional Baseball Clubs Incorporated and the National Association of Professional Baseball Leagues Incorporated, and is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the aforementioned parties is prohibited. Back here in Durham, Paul Severino with Darrell Hamilton and John Manuel. Sam Ryan joins us as well down on the field as Solano takes a swing and fouls it back to count 0-2. Solano homered in his last at-bat. We've got a new catcher behind the plate, and it's Andrew Susak, a member of the Giants organization and one of their top prospects as well. And we talked with Bob Mariano, his manager at Fresno, yesterday, and asked him what is standing between Susak and the major leagues as Solano strikes out for out number 1. What's standing in between Susak and the major leagues other than some guy named Buster Posey? He said he still needs to learn how to catch and call a game.
Well, those little subtleties are so important, Darrell, for a catcher. Just handling pitchers, knowing how to call a game, how to calm a guy down, like Eli Villanueva needed a little bit tonight. I mean, those are subtleties that really are learned by experience. There's no real magic wand that you can wave for that.
And it takes a while for that to happen. I mean, you can't just throw a guy out there and tell him to put down 1 for fastball, 2 for curve, and see what happens. You have to gain that experience, gain that trust from that pitcher, and understand the situation in front of you. And catching is probably the toughest job on the baseball field, other than being on the mound throwing those pitches. You've got to control the game both in the field and when you come up to the plate, and separating the two is always difficult for anybody.
Hendricks works quickly and misses low and away. 3 balls and no strikes to Ivan De Jesus, who flew out to center field in his first at bat.
I kind of love the fact that Buster Posey is one of the roadblocks. Really? Yeah, we're talking about an MVP player. Yeah, he's a roadblock.
He's a roadblock for pretty much any, no matter how good Andrew Susak would be. Buster Posey, as good as it gets behind the plate, and a conversion guy, great conversion story.
And you wondered, and I know you do a lot of these projected lineups. I guess the question is how long before, not so much before Susak gets up to the major leagues, if and when that does happen, but how long before Buster Posey, this is a great topic of conversation, before he moves to first base. Hold that thought as De Jesus grounds out to second base for out number 2.
Well, I think there's so many other moving pieces there. You have Brandon Belt, who plays first base. Maybe he moves to left field. If Susak is ready defensively, I think that would be determined by Bruce Bochy. He knows it better than anybody. Darrell, he was a catcher himself. He's been a big league manager for so long. But you could move Posey to first base, Belt to left. He's athletic enough, and slide Susak in if he's defensively up to Bruce Bochy's standards, because you want to save Posey and have that bat in the lineup 150 times as opposed to 130 times.
Carrera with a big swing and a miss. He's down on the count 0-1. 1 for 2 with a single and a stolen base for Carrera tonight. 6 homers and 34 RBIs in the first half of the season.
Well, let me ask you this, John. Do you feel that the game is changing in the sense that, remember when it was all about offense? If a guy could hit, you could throw him in any position and it's no big deal. Now that the power numbers are down, it seems like defensively a player has to uphold his bargain, so to speak, and play well defensively before he sets on the field and become an everyday player.
I think there are two sides of that. There's some managers who are of that mindset, I think, where you're going to have to be a two-way guy. And if you don't hold up your end of the bargain defensively, you're not going to be on the field. Then there's the other side of it where offense is so scarce that if a player provides you above average offense or has that power, you will make room for him just because you got to get that bat in the lineup. Susac could be that guy too. That's the other part of it, is that he's got real power to right center field. We'll talk about him during the game. I think we've got a scouting report on him, but he's got the ability to be a two-way player. I think the bat's pretty close to ready. He's also had some nagging injuries. Talking to Bob yesterday, Paul, I mentioned a concussion, hamstring injury. So that's the other part of catching that we mentioned with Posey, is staying healthy is so crucial to doing that job 120 times a year in the big leagues, 130 times.
Carrera works the 2-out walk, and that'll bring up Jose Perella. And especially the importance of managing a pitching staff, which, as it stands right now, the San Francisco Giants pitching staff is pretty good. I know there have been some ups and downs, obviously, this season, but for the big picture of it all is that it's a pretty good pitching staff. So it's both maybe a lot of responsibility and maybe an easy job, an easy task too, because these are some seasoned vets.
Yeah, I think Matt Cain and Tim Hudson and Tim Lincecum can help you through some things, and then Madison Bumgarner grunts once for a fastball, twice for the slider. I mean, Madison just kind of, he's such a special athlete that he kind of does a lot of that naturally. But yeah, you think it's easier for a catcher, a young catcher, to have that veteran staff, Darryl, or would you rather have a veteran catcher work with those guys?
I think it's easier for a catcher to have a veteran staff who can basically talk him through some situation he's not used to. But all you need is to have one of those guys on the mound say he doesn't like throwing to you.
Right.
And then it kind of wears off, and everybody feels that same way. So it's a tough situation, but you hopefully learn from your mistakes. And you've got to have another veteran catcher who can get in your ear all the time and kind of talk you through situations.
And yesterday, Souza talked to one of the other staff members of Baseball America and talked about that what he's been doing the last 2 spring trainings is just sticking to Buster Posey like glue in spring training and soak up what he can from Posey, how to handle that staff, because a lot of those guys aren't going anywhere for a while. There's some long-term deals there in San Francisco.
And another check on Carrera over at first for Kyle Hendricks, who again is working in his second inning of work tonight and trying to keep a close eye on Carrera, who's got a stolen base to his credit tonight as well. And Hendricks had one start with the Cubs earlier this season, worked 6 innings, struck out 7 and 3 walks, and obviously that is a rotation now that has a different look, at least for the duration of this season, with the trade of Jeff Samardzija and Jason Hamill to Oakland, where I think you touched on it before in terms of back into the rotation, but when do you think Hendricks maybe gets and sticks in the major leagues?
I'm surprised he's not there yet, and it might just be soon after this All-Star break as he gets the count full on Perella, because this is an organization that's very tilted to one side. It's a great farm system, adding Addison Russell, adding Billy McKinney in that draft, in that trade, Javier Baez, Chris Bryant, Mendy Alcantara. They've got all kinds of bats. Jorge Soler, as now Hendricks is making my scouting report look bad with a second walk in a row. But they do need pitching, and I think that eventually you will see Jed Hoyer, Theo Epstein, that front office deal some of those position players for pitchers. But they have an enviable situation right now, Paul, because they have athletes who can hit, and most of those guys have AA or above experience, and they've had success AA or above. We saw Baez with a home run Sunday, the Futures game, and they used the scouting report on Hendricks. The change-up's been his best pitch. We've seen the fastballs really much more at the 88 end of the range as opposed to the 92 tonight. And the curve and slider are solid but not spectacular.
And he delivers low to Steven Souza, who has struck out and walked in his 2 trips to the plate tonight. Souza a chance to perhaps blow this game open even more with his International League squad up 4-0.
Darryl, I like that at bat by Jose Perella, just there just to work that walk, keep that count full. He's had some pretty impressive at bats tonight. He drew a walk in the first as well, drove the ball to left center field, and was robbed by Orlando last time. So Perella's kind of showing some signs that he's got some ability, and there goes an easy steal of third.
Off and running, second stolen base of the night, not even a look from Susac. And now 90 feet away from perhaps the IL's 5th run of the night.
Well, it's all about patience in this role because, again, as a hitter in an all-star game, you want to go up there and show everybody what you can do at the plate and drive the ball off the wall or hit a home run and this and that. But got to take what they give you. And I think a lot of scouts look at that as being so important because patience at the plate, working the count, getting the pitch total up, that helps out in your development getting to the big leagues.
And there's an art to base stealing, isn't there? I mean, Billy Hamilton is the guy that we kind of think of now, or like I said before, D. Gordon. But there's an art to it. It's not just the speed.
Well, it's an art to it, and I'd say who's the best right now is Jose Altuve with the Houston Astros. Not a lot of speed, similar to Billy Hamilton or D. Gordon, but this guy picks his spot. He has good speed and he gets great jumps, and he is almost like the prototype that everyone should follow because it's not about who can run, a 3-1 down the line.
Souza maybe not thrilled with the last 2 pitches of that at bat. He goes down looking, and the inning is over as it leaves a couple of runners aboard here in the 4th. So it is a 4-0 lead for the IL. You get a good look at the Duke Chapel on the campus of Duke University. The AAA All-Star Game is brought to you by Jenna King. Who cleans your office? For businesses around the world, Jenna King is most trusted choice. Learn more at jennaking.com. Back here in Durham, and the first pitch of the inning is a slow roller to second base, and a nice play at second by Perella to retire Alan Dykstra, 1 out. There is a new pitcher on the mound, and you can't get much more efficient than that. As Casey Sadler, 1 pitch and 1 out, 14 starts, 8-2 record, 2.41 ERA for the Indianapolis Indians, the AAA affiliate of the Pirates. 52 strikeouts in 86 innings pitched.
And you can't get much better look at Casey Sadler than I got a chance to get here in Durham on June 27th. He dominated the Bulls over 7 innings, and it was just ground ball out after ground ball out. And to 92 miles an hour on that pitch, he's going to be in that 89, 93 range with a sinker, and he just pounds the bottom of the zone, kept the hitters off balance with a sinker and the slider and the changeup, and was pitching inside too, Paul. So he's just got so much weak contact in that game. It was really a great look, and this is a guy we've been low on in terms of prospect rankings throughout his career, in my mind, just after that one look. And he's had a great year in AAA and has a chance to be kind of like Brandon Compton, like a back-end guy for that Pirates rotation.
Nick Franklin, ground ball. They test Perella again, and again, he makes the play. There are 2 away here in the 5th.
And Sadler seems like one of these pitchers, which we call as a hitter, a comfortable 0 for 4.
Right.
And what I mean by that is you go to the plate, you go 0 for 4, he's not overpowering, he's not blowing you away, but at the end of the night, you're sitting there saying to yourself, how did this guy get me out? And it's all about sinkers, it's all about control, and it's all about keeping you off balance. And a guy like this can stay in the big leagues for a long time doing that.
Yeah, he's got a durable body, and you just see he left that ball up a little bit there. Nick Franklin hit it hard, but he hit it close up to Perella, who made a nice play in his showcase range to the right and the left in this inning with just those 2 batters.
Shane Peterson will step in with 2 outs here in the top of the 5th inning, 0 for 1. Member of the A's organization, takes a ball upstairs and maybe a little outside, 1 ball and no strikes. And when we saw the scouting report on Sadler, it says projects as a number 4 starter. There's no shame, really, in being a number 4 starter at the big league level, as that one squirts through the left side for a 2-out single for Peterson. There's no shame in being a number 4 starter.
Absolutely.
When you talk about scouting reports, there's no shame in being major league average. Because you know what? I was never major league average. So
That's a huge
it's
point,
tough
though.
to get there.
That's
The average is good.
That's a huge point, though, Paul. So many times we write that, and readers take it as a pejorative, and there's nothing pejorative about it.
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah,
by the
that's
way.
pretty impressive, by the way.
That's an above league average word.
That's got a high war on that word. But the thing for Sadler is that 4th starter. If you're a 4th starter, that means you're making a playoff start. If you're a 5th starter, you're not. That's the difference. He might be good enough if he maxes out his potential to be a guy who makes a playoff start or 2 for you over the course of 3 playoff series.
He'll work against Gabriel Noriega here in the top half of the 5th inning, with Peterson on at first after the 2-out knock. Swing and a miss to Noriega, who's 0 for 1, grounded out to second base in his first at-bat back in the 3rd inning.
Here's the key for a sinker baller is to have that strikeout pitch. You can go get a strikeout when you need it.
Swing and a miss, but the ball gets away from Solano and rolls toward the dugout, way too far away for him to have a play at first. So a ball low that he gets the batter to chase, but rolls away a bit too much, and now there are 2 runners aboard.
Really spiked that breaking ball, Darryl.
Wow.
To 58 feet or so out in front of the plate. not much of a chance for Solano.
No, and kind of hard, and goes back to not being able to face a guy who you pitched against or who you caught against. It's always difficult to understand where his pitches are going to go, and you saw the fastball, or I should say the off-speed pitch, came in hard, bounced early, and amazing he's got the strikeout, but again, catcher's not used to catching a guy like this, so he's not familiar where his movement is going to be.
It's a tapped foul at the plate by Paulo Orlando, who has made 2 terrific, if not identical, plays in left center field tonight.
We're looking at a gap here in left center field where he's running and worrying about the left fielder. That's always a difficult task. The first one more difficult than the second. I think as an outfielder, especially playing left field, you see a center fielder make a play like that, you say to yourself the next time, go get him, big guy.
You got it. You got it. And he did get it both times. This one, a line drive right to second base, and the inning is over. So we are through 4.5 innings, and it's a 4-0 lead for the International League. New York Times bestseller John Feinstein joins us next. Off the bat from the MLB Fan Cave, takes the love of the game to the next level, going behind the scenes with the biggest stars in baseball and pop culture every Sunday morning at 11 on MTV2. Back here in Durham, North Carolina, the AAA All-Star Game here on MLB Network. New pitcher in the ball game from the Fresno AAA affiliate of the San Francisco Giants, the Fresno Grizzlies. 38 games and a .365 ERA for Heath Hembree. 16 saves to his credit so far this season in 37 innings pitched, and more than a strikeout per inning at 44 Ks in those 37 innings pitched. He'll face Jesus Aguilar, Wilson Betemit, and Mikey Matuk here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. That one is upstairs to Aguilar, who reached on an error and came around to score back in the first and struck out in the 2nd inning. Massive power for this guy, a big-bodied fella. And he'll face Hembree here in the 5th as he skies this one foul down the right field line. Paul Severino, Darrell Hamilton up here in the booth, and very pleased to be joined by #1 New York Times best-selling author John Feinstein. John, thanks so much for joining us here in the booth.
Paul, good to be with both you guys. Thanks for having me.
Oh, this is great. And what we've got here, this is a copy of your new book, right, where nobody knows your name. I got the copy yesterday, and unfortunately not a speed reader yet, so I haven't been through it yet, but I cannot wait to dive into this thing on the flight back. Life in the minor leagues of baseball, and just walk us through the whole process of writing this book.
Well, basically, Paul, the idea really came from a few years ago when I did a book on PGA Tour qualifying school in golf, and I realized as I was doing the book that the golfers who are that close to the top level are truly great. They're not good, they're great. And to get to AAA baseball, you've got to be great, not good. You're an elite player. I mean, guys who get drafted in the 50-round draft, they're outstanding players just to get drafted. They have a 1% chance to make the big leagues. By the time you get here, you got a 1 in 3 chance to make the big leagues. Paul's here for the out.
Popped up behind home plate, 1 away here in the 5th.
And I knew from the golf book that if I did a book on AAA baseball, a couple things would happen. I would run into some very good players who'd been major league players. Miguel Tejada was in AAA when I did the book. Jamie Moyer was in AAA. Dontrell Willis was in AAA. Mark Pryor is where the title of the book comes from.
Okay.
Because you remember Pryor with the Cubs and third in the Cy Young voting and was on the mound during the Bartman game. And he came jogging into a game for Pawtucket, pitching middle relief in Lehigh Valley one night. And nobody in the ballpark noticed that it was Mark Pryor. They were all caught up in the between innings promotion. And I said, this really is where nobody knows your name if they don't know who Mark Pryor is. And you know, minor league fans know their baseball, and they want to see the prospects. And a guy like Betemit, everybody knows Wilson Betemit because he's been in the major leagues for a long, long time. And I knew I would run into stories like that, and I would run into stories of guys who were trying to get there, if only for a minute, to say they were there. And I knew there'd be compelling stories. And honestly, Paul, the hardest thing about doing the book was deciding what not to write, because there were so many good stories to tell.
Well, I always find the passion of players in the minor leagues is more evident than any other sport because, you know, like you said, getting to the big leagues is like the crowning achievement. I mean, guys would love to spend 20 years in the big leagues and say, I had a great career. Right? Yeah, but that doesn't happen. And just the opportunity for a lot of these guys, especially when you get to AAA, just to get that cup of coffee and say I was in the big league.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And that's a good point, Darryl, because they're so close but so far.
Right.
Because the minimum salary in the big leagues is $500,000 a year. Most guys playing here don't make $100,000 a year. They still love to play, and they still believe, whether they've been in the minors for a year or 10 years, that they're going to get there. One of the guys I wrote about, J.C. Boskin, played in the minor leagues for 14 years before his call-up came. And he was playing for Gwinnett, and when he got called up, Dave Brundage was the manager, and he set it up so that everybody in the clubhouse except for Boskin knew he was getting called up. And when he came out of Brundage's office, the whole clubhouse was waiting for him to celebrate. And that's just one of the, the cool kind of story that you love to stumble across. And you hear stories like that. Another guy named John Lindsay, who I met, took 16 years to get to the big leagues. But they were all still trying, and they all still loved doing what they were doing.
1-1 pitch to Matuk is outside, 2-1. It's a funny story about John Lindsay because as I was just kind of flipping through the book, I saw that name and I said, I know that guy. And I covered the Can-Am League back in 2005, and he was there, known as the mayor. And I made sure to look it up in the index to read those couple of pages. And that's the thing. Not only was that minor league ball, that wasn't even minor league ball. That was independent baseball as Matuk lines this one to left center field for out number 3 here in the bottom of the 5th. So it is a 1-2-3 5th inning. John Feinstein joining us. Do you have time? Can we get another half inning out of you?
Absolutely.
Great. Awesome. We'll talk more about the book Where Nobody Knows Your Name coming up right after this. Welcome back to Durham. Let's take you back to 2010, the AAA All-Star Game in Allentown, PA. After a flyout in his only at-bat, Indianapolis catcher Eric Kratz was pulled aside in the bottom of the 4th inning and told, hey, kid, you're getting called to the big leagues. Made his major league debut 3 days later at age 30. Played 9 seasons in the minor leagues before that call-up. Of course, we bring that back as we also bring back New York Times bestseller John Feinstein up here in the booth, the author of Where Nobody Knows Your Name, Life in the Minor Leagues of Baseball. As action continues here in Durham, the AAA All-Star Game moves to the top of the 6th inning as Jock Peterson will get his 3rd at-bat. Struck out in his first 2 times out. And a new pitcher on the mound for the International League is A.J. Atcher. 26 games, a 2-3 record, and a great 1.74 ERA, member of the Twins organization. So that one is delivered low. We'll get to John in just a second, but a lot of changes defensively here as Felix Perez takes over in left field. This is the part of the night where the scorecard really goes down the drain, but Perez takes over in left field. 3-0 pitch to Peterson is in there for a called strike. Next to him is Mikey Matuk as he moves from left to center field, and then he takes over for Ezekiel Carrera, and Perella is out at second base as well. So some defensive changes on the infield as well as Ruben Gotay takes over and turns around to watch this long home run off the bat of Jock Peterson. That's what we came to see, the immense power of Peterson as he connects for the homer to make it a 4-1 ball game.
Oh, we're talking about a no-doubter. Ball a little inside on him, he turns on it, and when you can take a couple steps out of the batter's box and kind of flip your bat, I think you know you got it.
That reminded me of another number 3 who was a decent home run hitter once upon a time.
We're starting to check out the bull now.
That's
it's getting
right.
a little darker.
That's right.
We're starting to see the lights. We're seeing the smoke.
Great,
getting there.
great story about the bull because, the bull was made famous in the old ballpark, which is about a mile down the road from here. And when they came down here, they moved him from right field to left field. And, it says hit bull, win steak. And there have been players who've collected. There's one off the wall. Almost.
And one hops the wall off the bat of Chris Taylor. Close play at second base, but in there safely with a double. So that is his 3rd hit of the night. A double in the 1st, a single in the 4th, and now a double here in the 6th.
And every guy who's ever hit that bull has collected his steak. But because it's the 21st century, if you look below the bull, it says hit grass, win salad.
That's right. You got to even things out.
No one's ever collected the salad.
Nobody wants the salad. This is another look at the swing of Jock Peterson and the snorting of the bull. But that, Darryl, that's the pretty swing that we were hoping to see tonight from Jock Peterson.
Yeah, we've been waiting for it, and I think him knowing that this is a big opportunity for him. Sometimes you put a little added pressure on yourself, but when we saw him in BP, he was hitting the ball all over the place. Glad after the first couple at bats, he relaxed a little bit and went up there and showed the swing that he has.
You made a good point there, Darryl, because there are a lot of Major League scouts in the ballpark tonight, and these guys know that between now and July 31st, any of the 30 teams in baseball could acquire him. And that's why August 1st is the toughest day for minors, because you know the trade deadline is passed.
No doubt about it. We've got to take a quick break. John's going to stick around because I told him to, not because I asked. We're sticking around more at the top of the 6th after the break. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is celebrating 12 years. Join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 devices. Visit MLB.com for details. Back here in Durham, new pitcher on the mound for the International League, trying to protect a 4-1 lead after the home run from Jock Peterson as Tommy Lane comes in. 5-1 record, 1.64 ERA in 33 games. And a terrific defensive play, and they get the runner trying to advance from second to third. Wow, didn't take him long to settle in, did it?
Well, sometimes it's good when you turn your head, close your eyes, the ball might go into your glove, and I think it did that in that play right there. That's the luck. Okay, oh, yeah, I got, hey, by the way, I can get someone out of third.
So Ben Paulson comes off the bench to pinch hit for Mike Jacobs, swings at the first pitch, and is robbed by Lane. Terrific, terrific play. So Andrew Susak now getting his first at-bat of the night. And as he steps in, we again welcome back John Feinstein, the author of Where Nobody Knows Your Name, Life in the Minor Leagues of Baseball. And again, this is a cover of the book, and as I mentioned before, I can't wait to dive into this thing. We talked about a lot of guys, and we were talking a little bit about John Lindsay, and, you know, obviously this is not about me at all, but doing this game last year, doing some research on some of the players, Chris Colabello was a player in the AAA All-Star game last year, played in the same league as John Lindsay, the Canadian-American Independent League, and Colabello toiled through not just the minor leagues, but independent ball for 7 years, and he made a big splash in April. So it's a long, never give up on your dreams sort of story.
That's exactly right. As Darryl and I were talking about, they never give up hope. And as long as they believe there's a chance, there's a strikeout, they want to hang in. You guys showed at the beginning of this inning the All-Star game from 2010 and the call-up there. I was lucky enough to be in Indianapolis when Starling Marte got called up a couple years ago. And the way Dean Traynor, the manager, handled it, he found out during the game that he was going up to Pittsburgh. They lost the game that day, and he called a meeting, a player meeting after the game, and he said, you know, guys, it was hot, I understand that, but Starling, you didn't run out that double play ball in the 6th inning, did you? And he said, no, sir, I didn't. And he said, you know what? You're not going to be in our lineup tomorrow. And there's dead silence in the clubhouse because Marte plays so hard.
Right.
Players couldn't believe this. And he said, the reason you're not going to be in our lineup, Starling, is because you're going to Houston. You're going to be in the Pirates lineup tomorrow. Wow. And the whole place just exploded in cheers because they were so happy. And, of course, he went up and hit the first pitch he saw for a home run.
Right,
so,
yes.
Really cool story. And getting to see stuff like that just made the book so much fun.
Well, for every player that, you know, you say the worst possible thing is independent ball because that's as low as you can get.
Right.
There's always that story like Scott Kashmir, where 3 years ago he gets independent ball in Houston, Texas, and Sugar Land, Texas, I should say, and all of a sudden now he's in the rotation of the Oakland A's. So, I mean, that keeps guys going back, keeps them playing, and it keeps them hope.
You're absolutely right, and that's what made the book so much fun to do, because all these guys loved the sport, had stories to tell, and had hope.
Can't wait to read it. Where Nobody Knows Your Name, Life in the Minor Leagues of Baseball. Jock Peterson with the home run to make it a 4-1 ball game. John Feinstein, thanks. We're back to Durham after this. Welcome back to Durham. Paul Smith takes over for the Pacific Coast League. 31 games with the Sacramento River Cats, the AAA affiliate of the Oakland A's. 37 strikeouts in 39 and 2/3 innings pitched. He will face the bottom third of the International League lineup. Phil Goslin leads things off and takes the first pitch. So Goslin is 1 for 2 on the night. New first baseman is Ben Paulson, who we saw very briefly, by the way. Swung at the first pitch. A terrific play on the mound by Lane to rob him of perhaps extra, or a base hit, I should say. Jonathan Galvez takes over at third base. AAA affiliate of the Padres, playing for the Chihuahuas in El Paso. And the 0-2 pitch to Goslin is outside. Also a new left fielder as well. One of the farm hands of the St. Louis Cardinals, Stephen Piscotty, takes over in left field. So now you are all caught up on the defense. Behind Smith on the mound. So 4-1 the score. Paul Severino, Darryl Hamilton, and John Manuel back up here in the booth. It was great to get to talk with John Feinstein there for an inning or so about that book and the life of minor league baseball, minor leaguers, AAA players to be specific in that book. And Darryl, you obviously you played minor league baseball, you played major league. Did you ever have to go back to minor league baseball for anything other than a rehab assignment?
Absolutely. It was miserable. I had that first opportunity when I was called up back in 1988 with the Milwaukee Brewers. Duffy Dyer was my manager in AAA. And I never forget, Duffy called me in his office and he says, hey, you know, Milwaukee called and they needed an outfielder. And, you know, they weren't going to take you. But I told them that you were ready. So you're going to the big leagues, son.
Wow.
So it was pretty emotional, and I still get a little chill from that because it was such an honor. But, you know, going to the big leagues, you expect to stay up there and have a great career. But I struggled. I had success the first 2 weeks, and then I struggled after that, and I was sent down and then got my way back up again. But it's frustrating because it's such an emotional roller coaster where you're in the big leagues, you're in the minor leagues, you're in the big leagues again, and you're trying your best to make it a career. And hats off to all these guys who keep trying because it's such a tough process.
Swing and a miss for Goslin. So he is retired for out number 1 here in the bottom of the 6th. The 4th member of our broadcast crew is Sam Ryan, who is downstairs with Alan Dykstra. Sam.
Yeah, Paul, I know earlier you said Alan Dykstra, no relation to Lenny, but how many times a day do you get asked that question, especially now that you're with the Mets organization?
A lot. I mean, people, it's pretty good assumption to think that my dad is Lenny, but he's not. His name's Randy, and a lot of people ask for his autograph, and I'm sure my dad's more than willing to give it to him.
Even as a kid growing up, you got it, right?
Yeah, definitely. Growing up in Southern California, that's where Lenny grew up as well, and I've pretty much had it my whole life.
Okay, you starred in the home run derby right here Monday night. You won it, 8 home runs. What was the feeling like as they were flying out? And no, you weren't going to hit the ball because you're a lefty bat.
Yeah, everyone wanted home runs off the ball, and you know that's kind of hard with me hitting left-handed. And I guess they said that this is more of a right-handed hitter's ballpark, so I just went out there and had fun and you know, tried my best and was hoping that they would clear the fence.
Okay, the young man who is pitching to you, 77-year-old Clay Counsell. Did you know about his story? He pitched to Josh Hamilton in the home run derby that he won 2008 at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, the staff here at Durham told us that he was going to throw the final round, and I actually got to talk to him as the home run derby was going on, and it was definitely pretty cool to hit off the same guy that set history with Josh Hamilton in New York.
Okay, so what did you win?
A wrestling belt.
And did it look like something that our Darryl Hamilton kind of has?
Yeah, I think they stole it from me. I had it down in the dugout, but I mean, it's a legit heavy-duty wrestling belt with the Durham Bull logo on it, and I mean, it's something that is definitely an awesome award.
It's a base hit to left field.
We're going to go to the booth, and we're going to take a look at what Darryl has.
Well,
there you go. What do you think of that?
Oh, it's pretty simple. This is the only chance. This is the only chance
right
I will have a home run derby belt on. If you know my career, I didn't hit a lot of home runs, but fits pretty good right here. I think I'm going to keep this thing.
Are you going to check that or just put it in the overhead on the way home?
Oh, no, you just got to put it over your shoulder.
Oh, okay.
You got to show it off and let everybody know what's going on.
Darryl, he
So
wants
Alan's
it back.
not getting
Alan
it back.
wants it back. You want it back, right?
Yeah, I need it. You're stealing my move.
Well, dude, you are down there and we are up here, so let's see if you can make your trek up here and take it back.
Darryl, he's a DH. He's got time
Oh,
on
that's
his
right.
hands.
I thought you were in the game. My bad.
He has some time to head up there to pick it up. Okay. Thanks a lot, Alan. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
And this is how Alan Dykstra, Sam and Alan, thanks a lot.
Nice.
This is how Alan Dykstra was introduced tonight.
That's how you got to do it right there.
So he is proud of that thing, and for good reason. You got a chance to wear it, but you get a chance to hold that thing? That is for real.
It's for real, and that's some serious swag to go home with. I mean, some of these guys are getting gift bags. He's got a little bit more hefty swag to go home with.
Well, let me tell you what, it is not light. It's a heavy belt. I feel like I'm about 60 years old with a big pot belly. Can't move or do anything, but yeah, very impressive.
That'll fit in Vegas, though. Vegas, you could walk around with that. I think you wouldn't stand out too much.
Well, Vegas, you could do a lot of things that, well, I'll leave it alone. I'll leave it alone.
Well, what happens there stays there, is from what I hear. Ivan De Jesus with a base hit, so runners on first and second now and 1 out. You saw Josh Fegley, who took over for Jonathan Solano, getting his first at-bat and getting a base hit as well. So that is where we stand right now as the lineup card turns over. And the new leadoff hitter, as it were, is Perez taking over for Ezekiel Carrera. A defensive change an inning ago. So this will be Perez's first at-bat of the night. In an RBI situation here in the 6th, trying for the International League to perhaps add a little more run support for their pitching staff, the ever-changing pitching staff, of course, in an all-star game.
Paul, we had 5 Cuban all-stars last night in Minneapolis. Perez is the only Cuban all-star in this AAA all-star game. He's been in AAA the last 4 seasons, so he hasn't been able to break through kind of as that 4th outfielder or extra outfielder in Cincinnati, where Chris Heisey's kind of ensconced in that extra role.
Hitting .296 this year with Louisville, 56 RBIs as he shoots this one down the right field line, and it gets down in a fair ball. That's going to be extra bases for Perez, and at least 1 run will score. They're waving home the 2nd run. De Jesus scores, and it's a 2 RBI triple for Perez, and a 6-1 lead for the International League here in the 6th.
Well, he sticks with a swing like that, he'll be in the big league soon. Very nice. Inside pitch, inside fastball. Keeps his hands inside the zone and pushes it down the first base line.
Yeah, that big leg kick, Darryl, I got to imagine that could create some timing issues for him from time to time, but he was certainly on time for that pitch. Got that front foot down and drove it.
And it was low end. We hear it so often, the lefty's happy zone right there.
That is the happy zone. Because you don't really have to think in that situation. You just drop the head of the bat down and it's going to take off.
First at-bat of the night here for Ruben Gotay, who takes over for Jose Perella, who finished his night 0 for 1 with a couple of walks. So Gotay at AAA Louisville, 15 homers and 50 RBIs, a teammate, of course, of Felix Perez in Louisville. And the count now 1 ball and 1 strike. So we were talking with another John, of course, John Feinstein, when John Manuel Ustep decided to make room for the best-selling author. When you were gone, Jock Peterson hit the home run. So before we get too detached from his power that we saw, as we will hold that thought and take a look at the scouting report here for Ruben Gotay.
And Gotay's had some significant major league time, but I think the longer swing and the poor plate discipline is the reason that he's stuck around more in AAA the last few years than getting back to the major leagues. Even with Atlanta Braves, he had more than 100 bats back in 2008, but he's a flashy defender and a versatile defender, but he also doesn't have that Jock Peterson power to kind of steer it back there. I mean, that was the kind of standout tool we were waiting to see in this game from a prospect, and Jock Peterson gave it to us.
And he delivered the same way that Joey Gallo did, essentially,
right,
at the Futures game on Sunday on MLB Network.
Yeah, he didn't hit as far as Gallo, but few do.
And we were talking about Jock Peterson, the fact that it's a plus and minus thing with him. He strikes out a lot, but when he connects, the ball goes a long way.
And today's game,
perfect example.
Managers make that trade. They make that trade every time.
We'll see if this is deep enough. Peterson makes the catch, and it will not be. Actually throws behind the runner. Ball gets away, but did not trickle into the dugout. So a lucky break there for the PCL. Speaking of Jock Peterson and one of those tools, showing off the arm.
I like the idea of throwing behind the runner.
Neat idea,
but maybe you need to do that in Albuquerque where your third baseman knows it's coming. In an all-star game, that communication is a little bit tougher.
Absolutely. The main problem there is third baseman had no idea that ball was going to come back to third on that play.
But the arm strength was fun to watch. I mean, the all-star games are just, you want to see tools showcased, and Jock Peterson showcased a couple.
And I love that, the fact that you take chances in games like this that don't count. You can take a chance and say, I'm going to throw behind the runner. Heck,
you're right.
I'm going to give the fans a little fun. I've already gone deep.
So might as well show the arm off.
Usually it's the catcher you see doing that, Paul.
Yeah,
Here's the right
yeah.
fielder throwing behind a runner at third base. You just don't see that play very often.
How would you rank his throwing arm?
I mean, the reports we've always had on it are a 60-plus arm in right field. And you know, he has the arm for right field. He has the speed to play center. He's going to need that defensive versatility when you've got guys like Ethier and Kemp. Here's the throw again. He got himself behind it, and see how accurate he did kind of tail on him a little bit too.
What a nice deke to home. I mean, he kind of focused on going to home plate, then cuts across and throw it to third.
That's a nasty arm side run on that. If the power thing doesn't work out, maybe he can pitch.
Well, and it's one of those things that there are a lot of scouts here at this game. So they've seen his power. They know what he can do at the plate. Now he can kind of show off a little bit in the outfield and get that grade up a little bit higher.
And again, when you say 60, that's 60 on a 20 to 80 scale. That one was tap foul by Steven Souza. Count stays 0-2.
Like you talked about, major league average is just fine, but 60 is plus above average for a major league arm. And there's a lot of 6s and 7s in that card, and that 70 power is highlighted and we saw it. That 70 is really that raw power, and then how often you make contact is how often that raw power plays in games. You guys talked about Altuve's speed. It might be 60 speed, but it plays better than that because he's so effective at using it.
Souza with a line drive base hit, and no matter how good Peterson's arm is, that will not keep another run from scoring. Souza tries to take the extra base and succeeds as the IL takes a 7-1 lead here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
That's just a big man who can really move in Steven Souza. I mean, I did not think he would end up at second base on that play.
Yeah, he's got tremendous power, and then he can take the extra base. And again, with all these scouts out here looking, they know the type of hitter he is. But show off your speed, show off your arm, show off your glove. Do all these things to where these scouts go back and say, you know what? He's not a bad guy to bring up sometime during the season.
It's just a nice heady play with 2 outs.
Yeah.
Take that extra base, get to second base, get in scoring position, and that's going to be it for Smith.
That is going to be it for Smith. 3 runs across so far here in the 6th. Perhaps more to come. We're back to Durham after this. Welcome back to Durham. Paul Severino, Darryl Hamilton, John Manuel from Baseball America. Sam Ryan here as well. Mike Fiers takes over for the PCL. 14 starts with the Nashville Sounds and a .252 ERA. AAA affiliate of the Milwaukee Brewers organization. 111 strikeouts in 85 2/3 innings pitched. So he will try to limit the damage that has already been done here in the 6th with 3 runs across for the International League to take a now 7-1 lead here in the bottom of the 6th inning, as he delivers a strike to Jesus Aguilar, who reached on an error and scored a run in the 1st, struck out in the 2nd, and popped up behind the plate back in the 5th. That one is fouled back in the count quickly, 0-2. So Mike Fiers came from a school that is, let's just say, not known as a major league breeding ground, right?
Okay.
Nova Southeastern University. And back in 2009, that team that he played for featured the only 3 major leaguers in school history.
Good team.
That is a good club, I would say.
Pretty incredible.
Be the 0-2 pitch here to Aguilar, and he swings through it. So Fiers puts out the fire. I had to do it. I apologize. This is the team right here. Mike Fiers, Miles Michaelis, and J.D. Martinez, who's tearing up the bigs. We're back to Durham right after this.
As you look around here, and you've only been back twice in the quarter century since the film was made, what do you think?
Well, I had a feeling when I read the script the first time that it was beautiful, that it had a little gold dust on it, meaning if we could do this right, we might have a very special movie. And that's actually the power of movies. Sometimes they can be about things you never, ever forget.
Yeah, Field of Dreams, 25 years later, comes your way tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 5 Pacific, right here on MLB Network. The funny thing, every time I see that movie, it's weird. Every time I see that movie, the room gets really dusty at the end. I don't know what it is.
It's funny. I got a chance to meet Kevin Costner. And it's a long story. I met him in Nice during the Cannes Film Festival.
All right.
And I met him at a bar at the hotel we were staying at 2 o'clock in the morning. And he is a total baseball fan. Don't let him fool you. He knows everything about baseball. And I never considered myself a star in the game.
But he comes over and he introduced himself, and he knew me.
Big fan.
I was totally floored by that. But what a nice guy. I mean, he loves the game of baseball, and the movies he's put out, it's just been pretty incredible.
Juan Jaime deals to Nick Franklin upstairs, 2 balls and 1 strike. Nick Franklin, Shane Peterson, and well, I don't even know why I'm laying all these out because I think there have been some changes. But anyway, the bottom third of the order for the Pacific Coast League. But yeah, to say that Kevin Costner is a big baseball fan is evident. There's 3 movies that just pop out to you. Obviously, Bull Durham, which we've talked about at length tonight. Field of Dreams, of course, and For Love of the Game, where he throws a perfect game. I mean, it just...
I love that movie.
Great,
I'm sorry.
great
I love
baseball
that
films.
Movie. Yeah. As a player, and the way it kind of started from when he was a kid playing early on to the perfect game or the no-hitter and the end of his career, every big league player or every baseball player could imagine what they had gone through during that time span. It's amazing.
When that movie plays on MLB Network, you can see minor league players who are watching it or college players tweeting about it all the time because of what you just said. They relate to it. And again, it's like Bull Durham. They got everything right. It's kind of like the Spinal Tap is to musicians. But they did the same thing with For Love of the Game. It got it right. The players can all relate to it. And of course, I love that as a college baseball fan that Augie Garrido, the Texas head coach, is the manager of the Yankees.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
Old friend of Costner's from their Cal State Fullerton days.
3-2 pitch here to Franklin. Swing and a miss, and a strikeout for Jaime. 1 out here in the 7th inning. So Franklin struck out for the 2nd time tonight.
Well, Juan Jaime throws really hard, and then here he changed up on him, doing an off-speed pitch with 2 strikes, and gets the swing and the miss from Franklin, who's got a couple of those. So this is Hoying now, Jared Hoying, the center fielder.
Yeah, I was way off. I got all.
I had Piscotti here, so I was off as well.
This is the advantage of having John up here.
Oh, this is Piscotti.
Yeah, we're completely clueless right now.
Now this is Hoying.
And
Piscotti's a
so is
right-hand
he
hitter.
at this point.
I don't.
Okay.
Piscotti's a right-hand hitter. We saw him in the fall league, so this is definitely Hoying.
I'm setting you up as being knowledgeable and knowing every player out here, and right now we're guessing. So let's get this right, okay?
Yeah, I'm right, and I hate to say the PA guy's wrong, because he's a friend of mine. But Tony doesn't know that Hoying hits left-handed.
All right, so whoever it is, no, I'm kidding. Hoying takes a strike. A look at his numbers with AAA Round Rock, Rangers AAA affiliate, 15 homers and 50 RBIs.
And this is a big league team that's obviously going through injury-induced struggles. Jared Hoying could be the next guy who gets a chance in Texas, just with the power numbers trending upward for him this year.
Yeah, it has been a rough year for the Texas Rangers. Injuries just top to bottom really have not been healthy basically from day one. Another strikeout for Jaime. That one up to 99 on the gun.
Yeah, we're being very kind here talking about different pitches and this and that, but he's lighting up the radar gun. 98 and 99 miles an hour consistently.
He was warming up at 96 on the stadium gun between innings. And the 96 to 99 has always been kind of in his back pocket, and this is what the Braves do. The Braves have this pretty good pro scouting department that has found, and amateur scouting obviously they're known for, but they've done a nice job of picking up spare parts for their bullpen over the last few years. Guys who were released, trades, minor deals, and Jaime's one of those guys who's been through several organizations.
Jonathan Galvez steps in, took over defensively an inning ago, hitting .296 with AAA El Paso. 7 homers, 30 RBIs for the Padres farmhand. Ahead in the count, 1 ball and no strikes to Jaime. Fooled a little bit on 89 miles an hour breaking ball, but we have seen the fastball, and John, you and the good folks at Baseball America rated that fastball as the best in the Braves system entering the 2013 season.
Well, 99 makes it easy, and then when you when you're geared up for 99 as a hitter and you get 89, you get ugly swings like we just saw from Galvez.
Swing and a miss. 98 and the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
You know, he reminds me a little bit of Jumbo Diaz.
Yeah,
with the Reds, a guy who has been in the minor leagues for a long period of time.
Just got to the big leagues.
Yeah, got to the big leagues with the Reds, throws 98, 99 miles an hour. You say, how come this guy hadn't been here before? And sometimes it takes a little while to get your control together, understand how to throw that 99-mile-an-hour fastball, and then come back with a changeup.
And this is a guy who's had Tommy John surgery, so he had 2 seasons really that were lost to injury to regain the feel for all those pitches and that changeup he talked about.
And if Diaz is jumbo, Jaime's just extra large, but he gets the pop out to first base to end the top of the 7th inning. The International League has a 7-1 advantage, and Jaime works an impressive inning with the 2 strikeouts and the pop up to the right side to retire Galvez, and it is a 1-2-3 7th, and it has been all International League to this point with 2 runs in the first, 2 in the second, 3 in the 6th, and they've got themselves a 7-1 lead. The AAA All-Star Game is brought to you by Gildan, official national partner of AAA Baseball. Gildan, every thread counts. Back here in Durham, North Carolina, Paul Severino, Darrell Hamilton, John Manuel of Baseball America, and Sam Ryan down on the field as well as things move to the bottom half of the 7th inning. And again, it has been all International League to this point with a 7-1 lead as 5, 6, and 7 will step up to the plate here in the home half of the 7th inning as Max Stassi takes over behind the plate. Mike Fiers remains in the ball game, deals to Wilson Betemit, who fouls it off. It'll be Betemit, Mikey Matuk, and Phil Goslin here in the 7th for the homestanding International League. 14 homers, 40 RBIs for Wilson Betemit, but he has seen an awful lot of time at the major league level, and you just wonder what kind of depth he may be able to provide, if any, for a Rays team at this point, which obviously is toward the bottom of the American League East standings. But look, we've talked about this a lot. Not exactly the powerhouse division that we have seen in years past.
No, but it's important to have a guy with a little bit of experience. We talked about the number of teams that he played for, and he has played for a number. Signed it at age 15, illegally it may have been. But we go back to 96 to 2006 with the Braves, Dodgers, Yankees, White Sox, Royals, Tigers, Orioles, and now Rays. Pretty incredible that he's been around this long. Shows that the guy can still play. And I think it gives him an opportunity, knowing that experience, that, hey, he could be a guy off the bench that give you a little lift.
He's played some playoff games as well. A lot of those are pretty good teams. Pretty big name franchises that he's played for. He still has a little defensive versatility as well. He's played mostly third base this year for Durham. He can play first or third, but definitely doesn't have the athleticism he had earlier in his career when he was a shortstop.
And another strikeout, although it will not count toward those totals, but another strikeout for Mike Fiers, who was behind only Jimmy Nelson, who was one of the, in all honesty, many names that were really taken off the roster, obviously being called up to the Brewers right before the break. I believe it was Saturday that he pitched. So we have seen, as we get all the emails of all the rosters, we've seen 4 or 5 different versions of the rosters as we get ready for this AAA All-Star Game. And again, that brings us back to the point of a Wilson Betemit type, that these guys, may not be in the big leagues now. Obviously, they're not here at the AAA All-Star Game, but may be in the coming days, weeks, months, whether it's with the team that they're representing tonight or with another team if they happen to get dealt before or just after the deadline.
Yeah, definitely some of these players get used as extra pieces. And then you have the older players, then you have the younger prospects who are still trying to make their name and make a guy like Mikey Montic who wishes he has a career as long as Wilson Betemit. And he has some of the athletic abilities. We take a look at his tools. Really nothing jumps off the page at you. We put a 60 on the defense because of the versatility. He can play center field. I think he's a plus defender on the corners, a solid average defender in center field. And in Tampa, he needs to be able to play all 3 spots as he swings and misses that breaking ball and strikes on. You see Fiers with the 3 batters faced and 3 strikeouts so far.
Yeah, I would say that's not too bad. Struck out Aguilar for the last out of the 6th. It's Wilson Betemit and Mikey Matuk for the first 2 outs here in the 7th inning with the IL up 7-1. As Phil Goslin will step in, and Goslin got we talk about a cup of coffee. How's a day? How does a day in the big leagues grab you? He was up there for a day toward the end of last week or over the weekend when he was called up when Dan Uggla had that 1-game suspension. So Goslin joined the Braves in Chicago and was able to return to play here in the AAA All-Star Game as he skies this one wide of the first base bag in foul territory. Paulson puts it away for out number 3. So a quick inning, a 1-2-3 inning in the 7th, 7-1 International League. On MLB Network's Friday Night Showcase, Puig, Adams, two of baseball's top hitters, clash in St. Louis when the Dodgers face the Cards. Join Bob Costas and Tom Verducci for MLB Network's Friday Night Showcase, live at 8 Eastern, presented by Chevrolet. Back here in Durham, and one of the Cardinals' farmhands, Stephen Piscotty, will hit in this inning for the Pacific Coast League, a team that trails big 7-1 heading to the top half of the 8th inning. And Piscotty, according to the good folks at Baseball America, John Manuel being one of those good folks, could crack his way into the 2017 projected lineup, where we see some roster turnover compared to what they've got now, but generally speaking, it's a lot of the same names we see now and what we may see in 2017.
Yeah, we kept Johnny Peralta in this lineup because they don't have a young shortstop in the farm system really to take his place. But they have incredible depth in the outfield. Taveras, Ramsey, Piscotty. We saw Ramsey Sunday in the Futures game. Taveras has been their top prospect for a couple of years. I really like Stephen Piscotty's bat. Take a look, Darryl, when you get a chance to see him swing, and tell me what you think. I think he's got power to right center field. He's athletic. To me, he's a profile right fielder, and the Cardinals have a lot of outfield depth in the upper levels of their system.
And you look at that 2017 roster or starting lineup, Colton Wong, I think what an incredible comeback for that kid. I mean, to struggle like he did in the World Series, getting picked off in a critical situation, and turn things around, become a big-time big league player. I mean, we all thought he was going to be pretty good, but you never know if someone's going to come back after what he went through. But hats off to him. He's doing an incredible job for this pretty good Cardinals team.
Well, that's really where scouting has to get into the makeup of a player. And you don't know for certain, but that's where your area scout's job is to get in there and get to know the kid. Will he be able to handle failure? And Colton Wong is from a baseball family, and I saw him play here when he was an amateur here for USA Baseball College National Team, and it's been fun to watch his career and follow it from a 5'9" guy who was a catcher as a high school amateur to an athletic middle-of-the-diamond player at second base.
And John, you make a great point that, with all the statistics that are out there and everyone talking about, WAR or how this stat helps out the players and this stats and tells teams this and that, it's hard to reach inside that player's mind and understand what he's going to go through with failure, because baseball is a game where you will fail. And a lot of guys have not had that failure before, so you don't know how they will react.
Andy Oliver, the new pitcher, delivers that one, and it is blasted into left field for a base hit for
John,
Stephen
you're good.
Piscotty.
You're very good, dude.
Thank you very much. Stephen Piscotty is also very good. More pertinently, he's very good. He's going to hit his way into the Cardinals lineup at some point. The bat's too good. Stanford guy, another cerebral player, and the guys we talked to in the Cardinals organization love the work ethic, but he didn't get cheated on that swing either. He was looking fastball, ready to hit, and drove the ball to left field.
Number 4 Cardinals prospect, number 70 overall, according to Baseball America. So he's on first base to lead things off, as Jock Peterson will step back into the batter's box for the first time since his home run back in the 6th, and he'll face the lefty Andy Oliver. Take a closer look at Oliver's numbers. One batter into his stint here in the AAA All-Star game. 33 games with the Indians, the Pirates' AAA affiliate, pitching to a .215 ERA, and he's got 11 saves out of that bullpen. 58 strikeouts to his credit here in 2014. Peterson takes low, 2 balls and no strikes.
This guy's a power-armed left-hander, has been a prospect for a long time. I remember him in high school. I believe he was drafted by the Twins out of high school and wound up with the Tigers out of Oklahoma State, and just has always thrown hard, but just kind of lost the feel for his breaking ball along the way, and has kind of been stuck here in the upper levels of the minor leagues now has converted to a reliever. Kind of hoping maybe this could be an Alan Embry kind of guy as we take a look at the scouting report. At 91 to 96, I mean, you're going to see easy velocity, but again, just the command just is not good enough for him to last as a starter, nor is the repertoire deep enough.
Pitches around, we can imagine, around Jock Peterson there. 4 that missed the zone, so a walk to Peterson. So 2 strikeouts, the home run back in the 6th, and now the free pass here in the 8th.
And I've been impressed by the next batter, Chris Taylor. We've seen him play with energy. We've seen him hit the ball well. We've seen the run tool. And you look at Seattle, they've got left-handed hitting middle infielders with Cano, and Brad Miller. And this is a right-handed bat who, you know, you're not going to obviously displace Cano, but he has a chance, I think, whether it's a platoon situation or as a part-time player, as an extra player with a right-handed infield bat, might help that team. And they're, of course, in a pennant race.
Well, it's funny because, you know, I think a lot of these guys, all these guys understand that the opportunity is there for them to get picked up by another team.
Yep.
I mean, whatever team you're on, there are 29 other teams out there that could use you. And to show on the showcase like this tonight is a big deal.
On the ground, left side, picked up by Goslin, throws across the diamond to get the double play. Slick play on the hot corner by Goslin.
Staying under control and getting the force at third right away. Coming across and making a good, strong throw across the diamond with the out at first.
You know, Daryl, Gosselin's played a lot of second base in his pro career, so this is not, third base is not necessarily his natural position, but he made that play look pretty natural and pretty easy. As Charlie Montoya is coming out to the mound, and that's going to do it for Andy Oliver.
You saw Luis Garcia warming up, so he will walk his way toward the mound to take over for Oliver with his club up 7-1 here in the 8th. Welcome back to the 2014 AAA All-Star Game with Darrell Hamilton, John Manuel, and Sam Ryan. Paul Severino here in Durham, North Carolina. Durham Bulls Athletic Park in a beautiful facility as Luis Garcia takes over and deals to Ben Paulson in there for a strike, and it's 0-1. Paulson's had one at-bat. You may have missed it. It was quick. Robbed by Tommy Lane on a line drive right back to the pitcher. He took it right off the dirt. Made a nice play. So 0 for 1 tonight for Ben Paulson. Swings over the top of that one, and it's 2-0.
Ben Paulson needs a updated mugshot up on the left field wall.
Yes.
Pre-beard.
No kidding. How about an 0.88 ERA for Luis Garcia? Not bad. 27 strikeouts and 30 2/3 innings pitched with the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs, AAA affiliate of the Phillies. On the ground, just past the dive of De Jesus and into left field, and it will also get by Perez. The run will score easily, and Paulson takes the extra base hit. Or the extra base. Maybe a single with an error. But the extra base nonetheless, and it puts another run on the board, now 7-2.
A lot of hard contact out of Paulson in these two at-bats, and they've both been up the middle approaches. Especially a two-strike approach. Don't look to do too much, just kind of hit it back where it's pitched, and he drove it back up the middle and was rewarded.
And that's something that a lot of these guys have not broken down and tried to do that more often. And what I mean by that is a two-strike approach where you're not trying to go up there hitting home run. Hit the ball hard, find a hole, and get a base hit and drive in a run. I think the art of that has kind of gone to the wayside in baseball the last number of years. It's all about power, 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 and a lot of strikeouts come with that.
It's going to be really interesting to see with the shifts in baseball. We see the swing again from Paulson.
Inside out, yeah.
A little toe tap and a little inside out swing, and drove it back up the box. And now here's Max Stassi making his first plate appearance.
So he takes over for Andrew Susac, who takes over for Francisco Pena. So a lot of moving and shaking for Bob Mariano as he gets all three of his catchers in the ball game. A swing and a miss, and it's 0-2. So Stassi, you see what he's doing at Oklahoma City for the Astros. All right, John, let me ask you. Astros, are they the 2017 World Series champs? Are you buying in?
I don't have that kind of crystal ball. I'm buying to an extent. I love their position player talent. We'll see on the mound, though.
This one line to right field. Stays up, and a terrific play by Souza in right center field. A great play to put it away for out number 3 here in the 8th. Great defense for Souza to put a cap on the inning. 7-2 to score. You can smile, Big Daddy. It's an all-star game. Enjoy it. Great play. Welcome back to Durham. Paul Severino, Darrell Hamilton, John Manuel of Baseball America. Sam Ryan is here as well. Another pitching change for the Pacific Coast League as Angel Castro takes over. 19 games, 14 of which have been starts for the Memphis Redbirds. 57 strikeouts and 87 innings pitched. So he will take over and face 8-9-1 for the International League, who's got a 7-2 lead here in the last of the 8th inning. Josh Fegley leads things off to get his first at-bat of the night. Second at-bat, I should say. and takes outside for a ball, 1-0. Singled in his first AB and came around to score back in the 6th inning on the RBI triple. 2 RBI triple for Felix Perez. And a long foul ball that clears the Taqueria. Is that how you pronounce that? Maybe?
I'm not going to try. I'm going to switch the subject to, we talked about their ballpark
Please
earlier.
do, yeah, right.
Talked about all these new ballparks in AAA, and Charlotte has a new one. I got a chance to go to 2 weeks ago, and I guess they call it Uptown Charlotte. They don't like to say downtown there. But it's gorgeous, and their old park was kind of, again, old minor leagues. They were out in the suburbs in Fort Mill, South Carolina, and they built it hoping maybe they could expand it to a big league park, and that didn't happen. And now they're in downtown. It's a really cozy little ballpark. It's a great setting, beautiful skyline. So that's kind of the trend that has gone on in the minor leagues, and Charlotte's caught up to that this year, and now they're a long-time affiliate of the Chicago White Sox.
Well, and you talk about the ballparks, the new ballparks here in AAA and in minor leagues in general. I mean, you look at the outfield of this ballpark, and you see the scoreboard in left field, the video monitor in left field. You sit there and say to yourself, 25 years ago, 20 years ago, I should say, big league ballparks were not this nice.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
look at this.
Yeah, that's the left field wall, and that's their video board. I'll tell you, I saw the college national team play Taiwan's national team here 2 weeks ago, and the Taiwanese players were all looking at that video board in between pitches. The pitcher would look out there between pitches to see for location. So they were blown away by this ballpark.
And the architects who have designed this ballpark not only did this, but Camden Yards, Coors Field. I mean, it's one of these things where everyone is outdoing themselves.
Right.
And
can you top this kind of thing in the minor leagues?
And it's a neat thing for happen for a lot of players to play in a place like this.
De Jesus with the chopper. Taylor a nice job to get to it, but can't get a good grasp of the baseball, and that'll be an infield single for De Jesus, his second hit of the night.
Got a little quick, thinking that you had to play it first. Rushed you just a tad bit.
So many things you're trying to do there as a shortstop. Make the catch, set your feet, get your direction going back toward first base, and make that transfer. And something got lost in the translation for Taylor.
But isn't that the neat thing about baseball? There's so many little things that you have to do to get someone, throw someone out, or catch a ball, or pick off play at first or second. I mean, it's such an amazing game, and it's fun to watch, and it's so intense that you have to understand that you will fail. Can't do it all every time, so you will fail in this game.
A pitching change for the PCL. We're back to Durham after this. Back here in Durham, let's send it down to Sam Ryan, who's got a special guest. Sam?
Yeah, Steven Souza, big game. You had the RBI double in the 6th, but it was the play that you made on defense that your teammates, the dugout just erupted here. Talk about reading that and making that play.
No, it's just one of those plays where, it's in the gap. You got a chance that you got to make a big play and try to bail a pitcher out of an inning, and luckily I got to it in time and got us out of that inning.
All smiles down here, and I know you're playing this game for a special young lady. Can you tell us about her?
Yeah, I'm playing for, today I'm playing for Ellie Grace Hommel, just turned 8 today. Just a little girl diagnosed with a tumor in her kidney, and it's it's an unfortunate thing when that happens. But any way you can try and encourage a little girl like that and just lift up her spirits. She's been so strong through it, and I just wanted to come out here and play for her honor and really just try and lift her up during this tough time.
This is what you tweeted earlier today, that you were playing the game for her. How do you know Ellie?
Her father, Brian Hommel, has been one of my biggest mentors through UPI, which is a Christian ministry that basically teaches baseball around the world and also teaches them about Jesus. And it's just an honor to know him and at this time be there for him, because he's been there for me and through tough times.
You gave her a nice little 8th birthday present, didn't you?
It's the least I could do. She's a strong girl.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Guys, back to you.
Sam, Stephen, thank you an awful lot. It's obviously a great story. Our thoughts are with her for sure, and a happy birthday to her. Happy 8th birthday. Hope you enjoyed that catch from Stephen, because that was a terrific grab. And hopefully that put a smile on her face as she celebrates her 8th birthday today. New pitcher in the ball game for the Pacific Coast League is Donovan Hand, 39 games with the Nashville Sounds, a 5.44 ERA, but 13 saves to his credit for the AAA affiliate of the Milwaukee Brewers. Just a little over a strikeout per inning, 45 Ks in 43 innings pitched. And ahead in the count, no balls and 2 strikes to Felix Perez, who had a 2 RBI triple in his first at-bat of the night after taking over for Ezekiel Carrera. A 2 RBI triple back in the 6th.
Donovan Hand's one of these guys who, to me, there's an easy comp for him. He went to Jacksonville State. He's a right-handed relief pitcher. Todd Jones fits those 2 criteria. That's a guy you'd like to have a career like if you're Donovan Hand.
High drive, deep left center field, and it will go about halfway up the wall. And the lead runner, De Jesus, was off on the crack of the bat, so he read it well, and he moves to third base on the double for Perez. So even though Perez will end up only playing about half of this ball game, he's had himself quite the productive night.
Yeah, his swing looks pretty good to me, Darryl. Pretty easy swing, easy power.
It'll be interesting to look at the earned run averages of a lot of the pitchers in the National League, because these guys hit.
Yeah.
And if you're under, I want to say 4, then you're doing something pretty special.
And Perez doing a little shimmy shake here at the end as well. He's having fun in this.
All right, John, shimmy
AAA.
shake. Look at you. Nice. I don't know if you wrote that in Baseball America, but I like it.
I'm stealing that from my daughter's basketball coach.
Nice. Shimmy shake.
Ruben Gotay steps in. Infield plays about halfway here in the bottom of the 8th inning, trying to keep it at a 7-2 deficit. Gotay fouls this one back, 0-1.
Well, there's nothing. I know it's late in the game in the bottom half here of the 8th inning, but still opportunities for guys to show what they can do at the plate. Gotay is not thinking hit the ball the other way.
That's
He's
right.
trying to leave right now.
He is trying to leave the yard and try to drive in these 2 or 3 runs.
Hot shot, nice play at second base. Take your time and get the out, and that is exactly what Franklin does. De Jesus and Perez will stay put at third and second, respectively.
Well put, Paul. He really did panic right here and then calmed himself down just enough to make the out. But speared the hard ground ball, checked the runners. Still some time to make some fundamental plays.
I guess he bobbled it right at the right time, right, Darryl? I mean, he bobbled it as he was looking the runner back, so the runner was frozen, I guess.
But the advantage of being a second baseman, you've got the shortest throw. So don't panic, don't freak out. Just flip it over there and you got an out.
Here is Steven Souza. Sam Ryan had a chance to talk with him moments ago. Chance to get a couple of more runs on the board here for the International League in the bottom of the 8th.
He's had a chance to showcase a few of those physical abilities. The power, the swing, the defense, and then the speed taking second base on that double that was just kind of looked like a gapper that the outfielders cut off.
That's in there for a called strike 0-2 quickly with 2 strikes and 2 outs as we take a look at where he ranks right now. If he's talking to his buddies or not, but mentioned it before, first in average RBIs and OPS and third in steals with Syracuse. So he has had himself quite the first half, and obviously, as all these guys are, deserving to be showcasing these skills here in the All-Star game. That breaking ball misses outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. If you were to draw up a Nationals lineup the way that we saw the Cardinals a few years down the road, is Souza a part of that projected lineup?
He certainly could be, because Jason Worth, has been at it a long time. He was a first-round pick in 1997. So at some point, you got to imagine that the beard and the long hair, the power that he derives from those things will run out on Jason Worth. But Sousa's not terribly young for a prospect either.
Hit on the ground, and Souza a hustle down the line, but out by that much. But it is still a 7-2 lead for the International League. We head to the 9th, 5-run difference. The AAA All-Star Game is brought to you by the Cree LED bulb, the biggest thing since the light bulb. It's not exactly the running of the bulls that we're taking a look at here, but maybe the marching of the little bulls. That's cute. Look at these little buggers out there. It's great. These guys out there. Fantastic. having a little fun before the 9th inning back here in Durham at the AAA All-Star Game. Paul Severino with Darryl Hamilton, big Durham Bulls fan apparently,
yeah,
and John Manuel of Baseball America. So you got a hat today.
I got a hat today. Just got a hat.
What are the rules?
The rules
right?
as a big leaguer or former big leaguer is that you don't wear a big league hat anymore. You can't do it. You can't advertise. You're not a big leaguer anymore, so you can't wear a big league hat. But you can wear a minor league hat. So I'm
here you go.
Durham Bulls. I like it.
You don't have to go with like a Brewers affiliate. You can venture out from your big league team's farm system.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You just I can honestly say I'd never played for the Durham Bulls, so I can wear this hat without any problem.
You can represent that hat pretty much anywhere you want to.
I love the hat too.
There's a good curve to that too.
It's a great curve. It's not the flat bill, which in my opinion is brutal. Stop, kids. Stop. Go with the curved front. I am so sick of kids with the flat bill. It drives me nuts. Okay, I'm done. I'm getting off my soapbox. I'm sorry, everyone.
That's all right.
There you go right there, guys.
We've got all night.
Put a little bend on it, please.
I didn't know it was going to fire you up that much.
I'm sorry.
We hit Darryl's sweet spot.
I'm glad I inquired.
Drives me nuts.
Things that really aggravate Darryl Hamilton for 100, Alex.
Put a pancake on that bill. It's ridiculous.
I don't even want to ask you about Fernando Rodney's lid.
Oh, my God. Don't get me started.
It's the 9th inning. Don't want to go there.
But I love the arrow.
Did he check his swing? He is retired. So Sean O'Malley, first at bat, and he goes down looking here in the 9th inning. Another look at the pitch from Bobby Korecki. Oh, yeah, he went.
Well, that was a choked up 2-strike approach, Darryl, but he still couldn't quite check his swing.
A little tail on the fastball.
That'll bring up Nick Franklin, who has stuck around for this entire ball game. A couple of strikeouts and a ground out as Bobby Korecki takes over an 0.57 ERA in 12 saves as well this year at AAA Buffalo. So a strike to Nick Franklin. The rest of the numbers for Korecki: 45 strikeouts and 47 innings pitched. He has seen some time at the big league level as well, as this one is tapped to the left side. In the hole, and Franklin a little bit too quick. He beats it out for an infield single.
And that right there shows you kind of difference between the batting averages in the minor leagues as compared to the big leagues. Because that's a play in the big leagues that's probably going to be made.
Right. Ivan DeJesus Jr., not normally a shortstop. He has been this year. But throughout the last few years of the minor leagues, been more of a second baseman. You know, you kind of saw why there.
Yeah, and the overinflation of averages from the minor leagues compared to the big leagues, it's not a huge difference as far as hitting the ball. It's making the plays. And again, in the big leagues, that play will probably be made.
First pitch is in there for a called strike from Korecki to Jared Hoying, who struck out in his first at bat tonight, as he took over for Shane Peterson. Got his first at bat back in the 7th. Ground ball, nice play at first base. Aguilar will take it all by himself, and the International League is an out away from winning the AAA All-Star game here.
That was
nice.
Some nice agility by a big man in Aguilar at first base. And I actually talked to Chris Tremme pregame, his manager, and he said that Aguilar fields well, not just for a big man, he's just a good fielding first baseman. That's been a point of emphasis for him in his career. So Korecki might be out of here after he gets his 2 outs.
Good job by the manager, Charlie Montoya, just trying to get everybody in the ball game, and he will go back to the bullpen with 2 outs in the 9th. Welcome back. Merrill Kelly is the new pitcher of the International League, pitching, of course, for the homestanding Durham Bulls, with 2 outs here in the 9th inning to face Jonathan Galvez, who takes outside for a ball 1-0. The numbers for Kelly here in Durham: a 3.06 ERA, 19 games and 11 starts. Got a nice hand on his way in.
And this is not a role he's really accustomed to. He's usually a starter and kind of moved to the bullpen when Jeremy Hellickson was here on injury rehab.
But you got to figure this is maybe his manager both tonight and for Durham, Charlie Montoya's way of just saying, hey, good first half, let's get you out there.
I think so. And you know, he's got the kind of changeup and it's really his go-to pitch that could be very effective out of a bullpen. And you think of a Trevor Hoffman or those kind of guys over the years who've been effective with that changeup in a closer role. I've never seen him in this short relief role before, though.
Hit in the air to center field. It's dropping and in there for a base hit and an RBI as well for Galvez. As a run comes in to score, Nick Franklin now makes it a 7-3 ball game here in the ninth.
Well, as an outfielder, your first reaction when a guy takes a big hack like that is take a couple of steps back because you figured he hit it pretty good. Got the end of the bat there.
And Montek playing deep also with a 5-run lead, 2 outs in the ninth inning. Darryl, you're going to be playing deep, and that ball kind of flared in front of him. And he's returning to a very deep spot in center now.
Steven Piscotty gets his second at-bat of the night. He was up for the first time back in the eighth and a single for the Cardinals farmhand.
Piscotty, I love his short swing. I love the no stride.
Right.
And we can watch him here when he takes his hack. What I mean by no stride, he's not picking it up and putting it down. He's basically just turning his foot in and turning it out, almost like Albert Pujols.
And you got to be strong
Yes.
to do that. I remember guys growing up, Jim Edmonds, Andrew Jones, a couple of hitters who did that. Jim Edmonds was the perfect one for me. Just had so much strength at that wide base. It seemed like he could get off balance very often.
The crowd rises to its feet with a 7-3 lead for the International League as Kelly gets set to deal the 0-2. Taps one, takes a funny hop off the mound, the flip to second, and the ball game is over. It's a 7-3 win for the International League, so they will have home field advantage when the PCL and IL meet for the championship. Later on in this 2014 season, we get to see the bull snort just a couple of more times here, as saw that go off a couple of times tonight as well on the home runs. But the IL gets a 7-3 victory, and they did their damage early with 2 runs in the first, 2 runs in the second, and then tacked on 3 more in the sixth.
They got some help in the first inning, Paul, with the error, and then they didn't need much help when Jonathan Solano hit that 2-run homer. That early lead just seemed like it was a big enough cushion, one that the PCL couldn't really overcome. But both teams, Darryl, there was a lot of effort on both these teams.
Absolutely. And John, you talked about earlier the hitters that are in the International League lineup. The fact that this is a league where swinging the bat is normal, and these guys can put up some big numbers, and we saw that tonight, especially early on.
And this was my first time checking out this ballpark, and both the layout of it, the fans were great tonight. This was really a great experience. I know you get a chance to see this an awful lot, this ballpark and the energy here.
I'm kind of spoiled. I mean, I've been doing games for the Bulls since 2007, so I'm here 15, 20 times a year, and all the upgrades they've done this offseason have kind of made it a new ballpark. I mean, they kicked it off all offseason with Bulls 2.0, Bulls Reborn, and it kind of lived up to it tonight. This was the ultimate goal for them. You know, last year they had this, or 2 years ago, they had the AAA championship game here, and tons of rain, and Trevor Bauer pitched and couldn't make it out of the 5th inning. And for whatever reason, that night with the rain and just the way the game went, it just felt like the ballpark was starting to feel old. It just feels brand new with what they've done with all the things this offseason, and this was a great showcase for it.
And the one thing we talked about coming in here was the #1 prospect for the Dodgers, Jock Peterson. And you know, he strikes out a lot, but he's got a lot of power, and he struck out a couple times tonight, but he hit a long home run. And a guy like that, again, the Dodgers have 5 quality outfielders. They got 4 guys who have played in the All-Star games, vying for 3 positions. It's going to be tough for him to crack that lineup, but with everything going on and the transitions of players moving to different teams and trades coming up, who knows what will happen. But I think the neat thing about it, he's only 22 years old.
Right. Now, we had several of the prospects, Paul, with good nights tonight. Steven Souza with the great catch in right field and the RBI double that he had. So the younger prospects also played a big part tonight.
And you mentioned, of course, Jock Peterson, one of the guys that was looking forward to see him coming into the ball game tonight, and a guy that got to face him a couple of times in this ball game was Liam Hendricks, and he is down on the field with our Sam Ryan. Sam.
Yeah, Paul, we have Liam Hendricks and Chris Taylor here, 2 stars of the game. Liam, 2 innings, 4 strikeouts. What was your approach against this lineup?
I mean, I don't know too many of these guys, so just coming in, trying to get ahead and stay ahead and be aggressive. I think that worked out pretty well for me today.
You did strike out Jock Peterson. You struck out Dykstra as well. And you smile here when you say that. You also got to pitch with a lead. What was that like?
Oh, it's awesome. Anytime you get to go ahead and pitch with a lead, it's great. It gives you a little bit of extra confidence. So, I mean, I just went out my game plan, what I've done all year, and it worked out today.
What's been the difference for you this year because you have been pitching more consistently?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a consistency thing. I had a bit of a mechanical tweak that's enabled me to throw a little bit harder and get more sink on the ball, and I've just been pounding the strike zone, getting ahead of guys, and making them feel uncomfortable.
Well, congratulations, Liam.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Chris Taylor, the only hit that he gave up in this one. How tough was he?
Oh, he was good. You know, he was pounding the strike zone, and you know, that's why I swung at the first pitch. Really, I didn't want to get to that secondary stuff. So, with all these guys, you know, we haven't really seen them all year, so it's tough. You know, we don't have the scouting reports on them, so I just try to be aggressive and attack the first good pitch I saw.
3 for 4, a couple of doubles in this one. You talk about not really having the scouting reports and not facing them. But what is it like being on this stage and doing it on this stage?
Oh, it's awesome. You know, I actually live really close to here in Virginia Beach, and my family's here, so they got to see me. And, you know, it's just great to play well in front of them. And then in a great park like this, I got great memories in this park, played here in college. So, you know.
UVA, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we won an ACC championship here. So, you know, just to come back here and be able to play on the East Coast again, it's great.
Some old memories and some new memories. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Guys, back to you.
Sam, thanks. And Friday on the MLB Network showcase, 2 of the National League's best teams face off in St. Louis as the Dodgers and Cardinals kick off the second half of the 2014 season. Live coverage starts at 8 Eastern on MLB Network. Coming up next, it's the best of Kevin's highlights presented by Axe Hair. So for Darryl Hamilton, John Manuel, and Sam Ryan, I'm Paul Severino saying good night from Durham, North Carolina. Thanks a lot for watching the 2014 AAA All-Star Game right here on MLB Network, where the International League is victorious 7-3. We'll see you next time.